Loki episode 5. Let's go. Yo, what's up, guys? Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh. I do not hear you. 1 second. I know exactly what's wrong. Excuse me. Uno momento. The problem is on my end. Windows updates have done us dirty, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, my output is wrong.
Sorry, dude, it's the most horrible placement. But my capture card's like right below it, so it's the only spot I can put it.
It's even got its own
I can hear them. Yo!
Finto! Hey, what's going on?
What's happening, guys? We did it. We got there at the end.
Beautiful Irish lad.
I'm so sorry, guys. My computer ran a bunch of updates automatically, and it seems that it had
Max for you, so it's alright.
It reset all of my audio devices, which is fantastic. Delightful.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Delightful. How's everybody?
Yeah,
You updated right
guys, I'm sorry.
It's brave. That's brave right there.
It did it
Throwing
automatically.
risk into the wind.
So
okay.
I was out all day, and when I came home, I switched on my computer, and it had started downloading them in the background. And then when I went to kind of shut my machine down for a little while before the podcast, you know the way it comes up like update and restart, update and shut down, blah blah blah. I was like, oh shit, updates are after doing it, but I didn't get a chance to test afterwards because it looked okay when I restarted. Ah, professional streamer. Exactly.
Always.
Guys, how was the week? I hope everyone is good.
All that NC stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
guys.
it's
So, what a week. We kind of knew it was going to be a good week, to be fair. Like, we knew it was going to be a good week. But my god. Whew.
All I'm saying is I'm not going to talk about Black Widow yet, obviously, but seeing the Shang-Chi trailer in the theater, in the big boy cheater, oh yeah.
All we got, we didn't get any, we got one trailer. We got the Eternals, and that was it. And then the movie started. And I was kind of, like, there was no ads or anything, which was great. And I kind of thought to myself, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, we don't have to sit through ads. But I was like, oh, I would have loved to seen, like, Shang-Chi and maybe something else, like, I don't know, Spider-Man maybe. That was the rumor going around that it was attached to theaters. So
Yeah, right, dude. There was actually people talking about how they were mad that we didn't have Spider-Man trailers yet.
this is what I'm
Sitting next to
saying.
me.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This is like it's the most anticipated movie. Like it's probably the most anticipated superhero movie ever.
The people next to me said they literally would rather than an after credit scene. They'd rather just after credit Spider-Man trailer. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not lying. That'd be pretty
yeah.
dope.
100%.
That would have been fantastic.
100%. I would have actually cried. I had the tears ready for two reasons during that movie. I was ready to go if there was any sort of reference to Steve Rogers. If I heard his voice, if I saw his face, anything, I was gonna blow up. Because I miss him so much. Like, going back and watching the old footage, I'm like, fuck's sake, I miss Captain America so much. Like, he was just the best. Like,
Just him holding his belt, just
yeah,
in the middle of the belt fold.
yeah. Me and Drunky were kind of chatting earlier, and I kind of I thought about it for 2 seconds, and I was like, that final scene, how they could have just made it so much better, will be if they, if Natasha just jumped on the phone and was like, hey Steve, I've got a Quinjet, like, where are you? And if he's just like, yeah, I'm blah blah blah, I'm in Edinburgh or whatever, see you in a few. And then it's like, that's it, like, then it just ends. And it would have just been so nice. You could have got him to do a quick phone call, paid him $100,000, and he would have been laughing all the way to the bank, and he would have had to record a quick call on a voice on an iPhone or something like that, and it would have just made the movie pop so much. Like, but
Chris Evans is going to hear one of these podcasts, and he's going to hire you as his manager because you know how many phone calls, you know how many $100,000 phone calls you've given him. You're making this man rich, bro. He's making phone calls and just.
In all honesty, though, could you not just imagine how easy it would be for them to do something like that, and for how effective it would be? You know
Especially
what I mean?
after 2020, after we did a whole year of like remote everything, like, bro, literally, it's okay to phone it in now. We're accepting of it. So start phoning it in for us. We like 2 years ago, we'd be mad at you if you did it. Now we're just like, bro, do it.
I would have full blown. I think there would have been like tears rolling down my face if that actually happened during the movie. Like, I genuinely think so. And it's such a simple idea.
That like Captain America and Falcon should have been getting like walking off that Quinjet. Well, like waiting for.
I think that doesn't line up with the timeline, but I know what you're getting at, and it makes sense because I think
getting picked up going to Europe.
My understanding was because at the very end, and I know we shouldn't be talking about Black Widow first, but at the very end, she says, "Oh, I've got a few friends to break out of prison." So that's and you know at the end of Civil War. Cap shows up to rescue Sam and stuff, so I presume she gets Cap, and then they go and rescue Sam and the rest of them. You know what I mean?
Nothing we say about Black Widow can be spoilers. This movie all happened in the past. Everything is set in place. It is to like this movie can't change what we already have in the MCU.
It's true.
I will say that. So we can't. I don't want any of us to feel bad about that at any point because
that's very true.
Let's be honest.
That is very true.
Very much a meanwhile movie.
Yeah, I like. Yeah. Look, we'll talk about Black Widow in a bit, but I think
him coming to pick her up, like her family's coming to get her instead of what Black Widow is.
I think Steve should have shown up. What you're saying is completely right. I think Steve should have shown up and been like, "Hey, what's up? Let's go. Family's here to get you."
The movie theater just because they hear about that. Like you're driving to the movie theater if you hadn't seen it yet. You're like, I'm going to fucking see this.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hang on, I'm gonna put a light on. Sorry, I'm the worst.
Yeah, I hope. I guess let's just get into Loki since we have.
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, like, who wants to start on Loki? Like,
I think.
Episode, it's so good.
Drunky fucking. This is the title. I got the title of the YouTube already. Drunky actually enjoyed an episode of Loki. That's going to be the title.
They finally made an episode that was just a complete fun sci-fi romp. There wasn't all this like melodramatic nonsense going on the entire time. There wasn't this sense of searching. It was fun. It was sci-fi. It was weird stuff going on. It was great music going on the whole time. Scenes that were bigger than life. Things that felt like they were worthy of like a Marvel movie. Between all the Lokis fighting in a room to like the Glorious Purpose moment where classic Loki raising this huge castle. Like it was just a big, larger than TV episode, and like that's what we need. We need bigger than TV episodes, man. It was so good.
Yeah,
I was so happy with that.
I actually disagree. For once, the things that you wouldn't let them get away with in the past, I feel like you're letting them get away with this time. I was super. Okay.
I can't believe.
As long as you still have these.
I can't believe the roles have flipped here.
I think you're still gonna have. I think we're gonna have issues on the same part. I'm just weighing them more, I guess. I'm upset about Mobius just showing up within 15 seconds of Sylvia arriving there in a working car and just being like, hey, guess what? Not only did I find you, but what's up? Let's go. We got a ride and we're going to drive straight to where we need to go.
It's Owen Wilson. Yeah. He can do anything. And I got to just stop for 1 second because Kitchen just came in with the best comment ever. Florida Loki gained the upper hand.
Hey, we gotta give him a hand on that one, you know?
Oh, yes, sir. You got him.
But Florida Loki will reign them all. He's like, you know how Florida Loki disappeared? He's the one in the castle. He left, stuck into the castle. He's the final Loki. Okay.
He is.
I heard the greatest fucking theory that I've heard yet, and I'll wait till after we've all spoke, and I'll drop this on you, and it's going to be a bomb. It's going to hit. Wait till you.
Okay. Let me just say the couple issues that I have.
Please
one, this temporal dragon is supposed to be a being that destroys anything it touches. So it just doesn't make sense that as she comes in there, she randomly touches a piece of him. Not only doesn't get destroyed, but it's like, oh, I think I could just, enchant this whole entire temporal being of destruction.
Anything it touches, but maybe not anything that touches it.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It just,
they don't have the kill switch on because they don't know they're being touched. You know,
these Lokis that have been getting their ass kicked by these TVA chumps at this point. The TVA's chumps compared to the power that we're looking in this episode here. Like, look at classic Loki. Like, the power displayed in this episode makes the TVA look like preschoolers, okay? And they were given Sylvia a run for her money for her entire life. And she gets here and's like, I'm I'm just gonna enchant this fucking temporal dragon. No big deal. Like, I have an issue with that. I have an issue with Mobius showing up to save the day again because it was already kind of put in my head in the past. Like, you know, you can't. That's kind of a get out of jail free card. So you have that, and then you have her. Those two things kind of just upset me. But other than that, I had fun with the rest of the episode.
People are talking in the chat here about Miss Minutes being the creator and stuff, and I heard a wild theory about who Miss Minutes is, and we're not ready. You're not ready for it.
Is it Finto? Is it Madam Web?
No, but that'd be cool. It's actually Natasha.
I'd be down with that. But that would be such a huge twist. I don't know if, like, how well that would work.
I think someone was breaking it down, and there's a reference that she makes to time or something just before her death, and a lot of people are saying that she becomes Miss Minutes, which is pretty crazy. It is.
I think there's only two possibilities at this point. I think Drunkie's right in last week's episode of the podcast, where we're not going to get King in this at all. I don't think, just because they're just going to save him for his movie.
Shut your mouth.
So I think me and Alex actually predicted either it's going to be the Loki, which we've all predicted, or me and Alex mentioned in like the second or third episode, He Who Remains Behind. Maybe we get him. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard of an explanation.
But who is that?
He is that's what he'll say it in the self. I am he who remains behind. I am a being created by the TVA.
And is it a Loki?
All time. But I mean, they could make him anything, you know.
Yeah, they could essentially make him anyone.
Okay,
but like,
I'm gonna drop my theory now because I think it's gonna sit right. Yeah. Okay, so I can't take ownership for this. I saw it online and I read it and I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. So a lot of people have been talking about. Do you know the way when Richard E. Grant's Loki, the classic Loki or whatever he was called, when he was talking and he was explaining his powers when they were having that sit around, and he said that he threw out a projection that was so real that the Titan himself fell for it. He's talking about Thanos. So in his world, he faked the death with Thanos. And a lot of people were breaking down Loki's death from Endgame, Infinity War, and basically Loki has always been known to be right-handed, and in that kill, he actually takes a shot with a blade with his left hand. So people are thinking that, and I have thought this the entire time myself, that actually was just a projection, and it wasn't actually him. So basically, the theory is that he actually projected himself onto Thanos. Thanos thinks that he breaks his neck, but it's actually not really him. So the real Loki, our Loki, the official Loki that we followed for the entire movie timeline, is actually, the OG Loki. He's actually still alive, and what he does is he actually projects himself as a piece of like rubbish and floats off into space during in the wreckage. But then he goes on and lives out his full life, and the Loki that's in charge of the TVA is actually OG Loki.
I actually love that because that answers the question I asked like a week or two ago. I was like, it doesn't make sense to me why when he's staring at the death, he says glorious purpose. And now it all comes together because like he was given the answer by classic Loki. You just fake your death. And then now you saying him being left-handed, that makes sense with it being the mere projection, which ties back to him saying, oh, no, those are two different powers. This one is this one, and this one is a direct casting of what you're doing at that time. Like, it's all tying together. Thank you, Finto. I needed that today. I needed that, bro.
They came back and made a reference that, like, in this episode that he's seen the end of his tape. You know what I mean? There was, like, no more. I think he made that reference, I'm thinking.
But that isn't the Loki that dies in Infinity War, though, right? It's a different Loki again. It's a variant.
I got you. Yeah, I don't know. I've also seen theories out there that this is the House of Ideas.
I saw that. I was going to play that.
I'm not like super familiar with, but apparently, like Loki has a storyline with the House of Ideas.
I have a video on that I can actually play if we want. There's a good.
I think I already know exactly which video it is.
There's a good explanation. I might have sent it to you. There's a good explanation of it, which I think I could throw up if you want.
I've been diving real deep in the new Rockstars.
It wasn't new Rockstars actually. It was it was somebody else. It was a TikTok creator, but the video actually makes a lot of sense. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But Drunky, I think you might be right. There's a lot of people saying it's Doom's Palace as well.
That's what I thought.
That would be sick.
That's
Drunky called that last week.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I saw it, I was thinking mansion. I was like, well, kind of look like a castle. Like, I was like, that's Doom's castle. Like, that was my immediate reaction afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about the House of Ideas. Like, I really didn't know about that at all. But like Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom ties into Kang. And like, Kang uses Doctor Doom's tech or whatever, to be like get his powers or what have you. And I totally thought Doctor Doom. Like, what a great way to bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I saw
my girlfriend.
I saw a theory.
Sorry, go on.
I saw a theory that classic Loki actually projected himself again and then hid in order to
classic Loki move. Like, he's not really dead. Yeah, I fully believe it.
You see him holding his hands up and like using his power like at the very end after he had already like gotten rid of the illusion. And they're saying it's possible that he just like he did that really quick to project himself and then like split and then probably get himself in there.
The motherfucker just projected the entire of Asgard. Of course,
exactly.
He could just pop up another version.
He's the star of that episode to me. That was the
incredible.
MCU's version of Palpatine's unlimited power when he did that unlimited. Like, I felt that vibe that whole time when he's like, like that was it for me.
Yeah, 100%.
I really wish our Loki would have done that though. I wish the Loki that the show was based on would have been the one to raise up the Asgard, raise the projection. Like, if classic Loki somehow in the script like tells him how to believe in himself, that he's stronger than what he thinks he is. That moment that he has a realization of that before. If they would have had that earlier, and then classic or the Loki we're following, who are our Loki, is actually the one who raises Asgard and does all this and has this big, huge fucking hero moment finally because it actually gives him something to do. Because that again is my big gripe with the episode. Is Loki doesn't have anything to do. He gets led around by people. He's not like a hero. He's a kite.
I think that line where he says that he's like, oh my god, I don't think we realize how powerful we are. That lines like that like tell me that there's going to be a future. Like, you can't just like put stuff in there like that and say, and then let it be the end of the story and let Loki die at the end. Like, I would not be surprised if in a future movie, if like Thor 4, he actually resurrects Asgard on Earth or something like that. You know what I mean? Cool. 100%.
Yeah. This could be like a huge setup.
Yeah.
For like the final episode, being that Loki has heard from classic Loki that he can do stuff like that. He's heard from Sylvie that he can also enchant. So like he has abilities that he's not even aware of yet. And I feel like that's the whole setup right now. Is this final episode is going to show like one big moment where Loki's like, I'm going to show off a power that I've been wanting to try. And
like being a leading man finally. I've been hiding this whole time.
Hey, can I get a pleb explanation of the House of Ideas?
Sorry, I'm gonna play it right now. Sorry, I didn't want to. The flow was great there. I didn't want to interrupt. And sorry, just before I play that, I just have to say, Zauven, thank you so much for those gifted subs, dude. You're a legend.
Zauven,
what an absolute legend! Oh my god. Sorry. Let me play this real quick, just to give everybody a kind of. So we're all on the same page here. Why want this full screen? Okay.
I'm very
sure
that
I know leaked DMs.
Who lives in this castle, and it's not Kang. First off, the castle actually has a name, and it's called the House of Ideas. And this is a house that's been seen in Loki comics before. Now, before I get into it, I want to talk about the house's structure alone, because while it may not look like a castle, it definitely resides on some sort of rock floating in the middle of nowhere. And this rock floating in the middle of nowhere, outside of the timeline, could be the home of the House of Ideas. Now, what is the House of Ideas? The House of Ideas is the core of all reality and the birthplace of all that was, all that is, and all that yet may be. Besides then and now, it is also the home of the one above all, the ultimate creator of everything. And within this place, infinite stories are born and thoughts and ideas can take physical shape.
How cool is this guy's shirt?
Who lives in the House of Ideas? The House of Ideas is lived in by two characters.
Oh my god, I never noticed that.
It's such a mix.
Such a mix shirt.
I'm
getting that fucking shirt
now. Then and now are more connected with Loki. Anyway, without getting too complex with their background, then and now are the presiders or owners of stories throughout the multiverse. Think of Wan Shi Tong from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like Wan Shi Tong, they both love collecting knowledge and stories. They even make deals with Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Thor to add stories to their collections. So in a way, these guys are like the purveyors of the MCU. I mean, they even have huge shelves filled with books. And you can see full shelves filled with books from this scene from the mid-season trailer where you can see Sylvie holding the sword of Ravana and the bookshelf right behind her. Other than then and now, we may also see Loki, God of Stories, live in the House of Ideas, who can basically narrate things to be or not to be. That is the question. So it is possible that this has all been leading up to Loki, the God of Stories, who has created the TVA to basically make his own story of what the timeline should be. So it's very possible that Loki and Sylvie will become the god and goddess of stories, rewrite their own stories, and maybe even Loki will become king of Asgard and not hurt Thor or Odin in the process. And one where Sylvie gets to just have a normal childhood. Or maybe even one where they get to be together.
Woohoo! That guy's saying a lot of sense. I've kind of thought about that for like since the start. I've kind of thinking, I was thinking, you know, does Loki get a view of the end of time? Does he become like a Spectre? I've been saying this for weeks, like, and I think that makes a lot of fucking sense. What he just said there.
Like, I don't think they bring those two kids in, the blue kids, because I think that's too much to explain in like an hour episode.
Yeah.
When they got to like get everyone to like a good end. But I think they do jump to like God of Story Loki or whatever.
Yeah, Loki, King of Stories. Yeah.
I think you just, you know, the way the MCU likes to kind of change things a little bit. I think that's what you do with Loki and Sylvie. You make them then and now or whatever, you know.
Sylvie hasn't had that broken crown on in a while now, and that could have been like the foreshadowing the entire time, if that's like what the Loki God of Stories wears. And now, if you notice, the past like 2.5 episodes, 3 episodes, she hasn't worn that at all.
That is true. I didn't even kind of realize, like, I didn't like take that in, if that makes sense.
Like, you seen that someone and lost it in like the train episode, right?
Yeah. It's at some point she lost it or she took it off, and she hasn't had it since. Maybe the TVA took it when they first went there, but all I know is she hasn't had it for a minute. She hasn't had it since I remember when she went with B-15 to Roxcart again. She came back with wet hair and didn't have the crown, so it's been since then at least.
Yeah.
Loki squared. Sorry, the chat's very funny right now. Does Loki somewhere have children with ... himself?
Yes. The answer, if you're asking if he has children with, the answer is yes. A mouse, yes. A horse, probably.
Snake, yes.
What I'm wondering is B-15 gonna show up again at all? I feel like they're still kind of keeping her.
B-15's the one from Lovecraft Country, right? I honestly, I just don't.
She's the
I
one.
don't care about these characters because they don't have real names.
She's the one that Renslayer is still interrogating in the Red Room.
I don't know how they didn't just kill her off like in the episode before last.
That's
like,
what I thought, Drunky.
Yeah.
I thought she was gone.
Like I don't know
When
what
she showed back up. I was like, ooh.
You know? So I mean, maybe she'll help out Morbius because he's going back, or Mobius because he's going back to the TVA or whatever. And he might need her help to like take it down, what have you. But other than that, I'm like, I really don't see her purpose in the show anymore. Like we got it.
Yeah,
we got it.
Yeah, you
Right.
I almost didn't see Renslayer's purpose anymore. I'm kind of over her.
I think she has a lot of purpose because
No, I'm
of her
over it.
connection to Kang and stuff. Like, if not in Loki, I think she's coming back further on, if that makes sense.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just over her though.
I am too. I just hate all the I hate all the little like lead ups to things. Like, you know, if we don't get Kang, there's so much fucking evidence to Kang now. It's like, if we don't get it, it's like, what? Like, we know he's coming, he's cast and everything, and like, he was cast a year before they would have cast for that role, which makes you think that he's cast for something else as a small appearance in something else. It was the same thing with Thanos. Like, everyone knew Josh Brolin was going to be Thanos probably a year before he started shooting anything, because he was doing little clips here and there. And I just think it'll be silly now if we don't at least get something. And I don't think it's enough to just have him kind of smile at the camera at the very end in an after credit scene. You know what I mean? I don't think that's enough.
I mean, they did have the Kang Avenger Tower.
Yeah,
in this episode.
yeah, they did. That was there. Like, so
From a prune timeline, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
not
the
supposed
Thanos copter.
Yeah,
I looked that up. That comic is hilarious. Looking
Yeah, dude.
Thanos riding around in that copter,
We need toys. We need toys.
Yep.
Fucking Throg trying to go after Mjolnir in the jar. That was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Throg until Alex told me. I remember seeing that in the first time I watched. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and pause that.
I was watching.
I was like, wait a second.
I was watching it with my girlfriend and I paused it. I was like, oh my god! And I went back and she's like, what? And I didn't see anything. And I was like, it's fucking Throg.
With the Mjolnir's in the ground, just chilling.
So good, dude. So good.
They had other little tidbits like the Ecto High C and the Polybius machine, and
yep.
They had what they say, the rocket from Captain America, the first Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
The spinning rocket,
Red Skull's rocket. Yeah,
that's in there.
Yeah.
It's just like
I watched like every reference. That ship apparently is this one ship. Like every reference is something like from that's been lost in the Bermuda Triangle or something like that. Everything is like got a real life or MCU tie back to like some mysterious shit that's happened and made it disappear.
Can you imagine if they would have just had like Edward Norton sitting in there just chilling?
Yeah, that would have been so hilarious.
All the MCU people, they cast out the first guy that played Rhodes. He's in there.
Terrence Howard, they bring him back for like 50 million for like 12 seconds.
He's got like his own janky.
Next time, baby.
Yeah, he made his own trash War Machine costume with all the trash from in there.
Oh my god, dude, that's so fucking funny.
Can I have one small thing about this episode? And this is like a bigger point how I think the MCU shows are like spreading the continuity people out a little bit too thin. How the hell did Loki get cold to where he needed a blanket?
I have that in my notes.
He was just
pissing me off so much.
You said
I think he was just. I really think he was just messing around.
No, he wasn't.
He just got the moves.
Like, he had to, but he was trying to
get those Sylvie snuggles.
Nah,
yeah, because Sylvie would have said the same thing. Sylvie would have said the same thing.
No, I don't buy it. I think he was genuinely cold. I think they're not writing this property. I think they're trying
being a cock blocker.
They're trying to erase his Frost Giant past. Fact.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of true because, like I said, I forgot he was even like blue skin until we went through the rewatch, and I was like, oh yeah, he's just been projecting fake human skin this whole time.
He should be blue when he arrived to the TVA because
in the TVA, no powers. Yeah.
Unless Odin transcends. Unless Odin's power transcends everything, he's Odin.
Odin's son.
Well, isn't Thor to become the All-Father? That's the story.
Yet.
That's it's pretty obvious. That's where it's going.
Yeah, dude. If they do fucking, oh my god,
it's coming.
I can't wait for they do it right.
I think they said that. I think there's an interview that said somewhere that they weren't going to have any romantic. That's more about a love yourself theory. Like even though it's narcissist, it's more about a love yourself theme than a bang yourself theme. So I don't know if we get a kiss.
That's exactly what I was thinking, but like it's becoming more and more apparent that like they actually like each other. Like they're.
I don't think Sylvie feels the same way. Like I think she thinks there's something a bit strange going on, but she's not into him.
She's still concerned.
She's concerned, but she's not liking him, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like during that scene where he's trying to put the blanket around her and stuff, like she's like putting off like really weird faces and stuff, and she's really awkward and stuff and really uncomfortable. So I don't think she feels the same way, and I would not be surprised if she betrays him by the end of the show.
Hold up. Finto, are you not calling alligator Loki Florida Loki in the household? How is Emily just now hearing about this in your chat? Is this not a household term?
No.
Are you not calling him Florida Loki in the household?
No, we actually haven't even spoken about Florida Loki yet.
Okay, you're gonna take this disrespect.
It's
also Drunky.
Her name's Emma, by the way. But yeah,
Emma,
it's close enough.
I saw Emma. It's Emily.
M. Malloy. So Malloy's her
Malloy.
surname.
Oh,
yeah, she's out there with her real name on Twitch. It's crazy.
I thought she was just doing fancy way to spell. Listen, I'm just a dumb American. Okay, I'm a dipshit through and through.
It's okay, guys. It's okay.
Real quick question for Drunky. I had a real quick question for Drunky. How quickly can an alligator bite off someone's hand?
Like that, baby. Like that.
Snap. Game over.
Oof. Dude, that was so quick.
Before you hear them bite, you'll hear a click because it's the mechanism that lets it latch. You hear a click in their jaw, like click, and then bam, snaps it. Plus, he's Loki. He's got powers.
Yeah,
bro. I'm just saying that you
on.
just went for that too. There was no hesitation. He's one of the most thugged Lokis in there.
I love it.
Like
that was such a great scene. I love it. He just looks up at his hat and he's like, ah. And
I love the
first scream was amazing.
First thing I think of is like Disney and Marvel and stuff. They just fucking love taking people's hands off. Have you noticed that? It's always like a trend in all their movies. Like everyone loses a hand. And like it's all the way back to Luke Skywalker, like back in like 1980, but it's just constant. Like I think there's a YouTube video you can pull up like every character that loses their hand in Disney and Marvel and so on and Star Wars, like, but like it's just such a thing. Like the Scream was the best. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I did a poll. It's like 3 and 3. It was tied for yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Perfect.
In the shows.
Yes or yes.
Oh no, because we had fucking U.S. agent go nuts. Never mind. Forgot about that.
Yeah, bro.
I also like the blanket thing. Here's what bugs me about it, and I think this is kind of like a showcase of the MCU TV shows as a larger entity, is that they're bringing on writers who they're not writing the character, right? They're writing the scene. They're like, oh, I want a scene where Loki gets cold and puts a blanket on and then shares it with Sylvie. It's like, I like that scene. It's cute. It's adorable. And they're not like staying true to the characters, and it's like they're getting spread thin, and they don't have a, and maybe they do, and they just don't care. But like a guy who like, you know, or gal that is double checking everyone's work, that there's continuity, that these characters are, you know, overall being taken care of and written the right way. That like, hey, you know, here's a note. Loki wouldn't get cold. He's a frost giant. He's made of frost. There you go. Take that.
He is literally the Prince of Jotunheim.
So, it's a problem with the shows.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't think they get it. Like, you know.
They can. I mean, they're afraid to like. Why not show more grandiose gestures? You have, like, literally, you have powers at your disposal. If you're gonna have him pull a move, it doesn't need to be a blanket. Have him pull. I mean, classic Loki just is gonna project a city. Like, come on, let's tap into these powers some more.
The head writer of the show came out and said that he was literally like one of the main pushing points for the series was this bizarre love like connection between them. Like that was one of the main like selling points of the show. So I think they're trying to put in all of these awkward moments over doing like historical like facts, like the fact that he's a fucking
true. I can get behind that. I can get behind that though. But here's the thing: Aladdin took Jasmine on a fucking magic carpet ride, bro. He showed her the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Why can't we get more from Loki?
It's true.
Aladdin doesn't even have powers.
Finto's got such a good point with this. They've literally tried to do the same scene where they almost kiss a little bit. They've tried to do it like 4 times, man. Like, move on from it. We get it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's something
like,
weird going on. We get it. Like, you know.
So we can tell that the writers also love anime.
Yes.
Like they wanted to have those awkward moments every single time and never really getting anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And you gotta keep in mind there's a head writer for fucking Rick and Morty on this show right now. So you know they're trying to be weird over logical, like, you know.
Right. Also, I think there could have been a way to fix that dialogue then if you guys are saying that like it was clearly like that was just written in, it wasn't thought of. At the very least, they should have written a little bit more dialogue of like Sylvie being like, we're born of frost giants, you know that, right? And then like he would have been like, I mean, psychologically I am, or you know, emotionally I'm cold.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came out that Sylvie's heritage isn't the same. She just comes across to me as having a completely different upbringing. Like, there's never any mention of Thor. There's no mention of Odin. Like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was none of that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, she was taken real young.
Yeah, and I think Drunkie's right in what he's saying. I was listening to a different podcast, and they were talking about, you know, what was Sylvie's Nexus event, and I think what Drunkie said is perfectly right. You know, she made a conscious choice to be a hero, and it's like Drunkie or fucking Loki is a villain, like, you know, it's like you can't do that. So the second she made that choice to flip that switch and pretend to be a hero and then show concern for random guards and stuff, that's the Nexus event, and she just seems to have a completely different upbringing, like. So I'd be very curious. And then
I think something I've been putting together, I don't think that the thing that was skewing the timeline all the way up was them like kissing or touching or whatever. I think it has to do with a Loki dying because Lokis aren't supposed to like die or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're like at the very end. And so I think it's because they were gonna die in that apocalyptic event that things were going awry. I think they're gonna explain that, and that's like surviving's the big deal.
Right.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And why the Lokis have to come to this like special end time place.
Well, again, isn't that exact? Sorry, just very quickly as well, just on the back of that, wasn't that the reason why they say Richard E. Grant as well? His classic Loki went off into exile for so long, and the second he even thought about, showing himself as being alive, bang, taken straight away. Yeah. So yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. They would have let him live in exile.
I have to exit the podcast. It's a short one for me. I'm sorry I can't talk about Black Widow. I hope you guys have a great discussion. I'll definitely check it out in the VOD and the podcast on YouTube.
Guys, I think we're probably going to be talking about it again next week anyway, so I'm sure there's plenty to break down anyway. So
definitely good.
We'll do it too.
Everybody else will be catching up, watching it throughout the week, so we're gonna more theories will come out. And
I'm gonna watch it again next week as well, so I'm sure I'll have even more to talk about next week. So for sure,
I'm gonna take a note on what you guys say just so I can be a contrarian. It's gonna be nice. You guys have a good rest of your cast. Chat, you guys have a good one.
Later, Turkey. Thank you so much for being here, dude.
You're marvelous.
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 Yeah, so
look at Finto in that number one spot. Damn.
Yes, let's go. Yeah, I think we figured that out. It's alphabetical, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Finto, I'll be completely honest. I totally forgot that she had asked what her Nexus event was, and during episode 5, I completely forgot about even any of that kind of stuff. I was just having so much fun.
Yeah,
I still think Drunky called the answer to that.
I think
her
so,
whole
too.
Nexus event is just the idea of her being a hero because they're just setting up her being a hero so much. That's like the entire purpose of the B-15 scene is like Renslayer's we're trying to figure out more about Sylvie. What did she show you? Blah blah blah, and they're just setting her up to be a good person.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just that's a no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So it does fit if it ends up being another Loki within that section, and it actually was He Who Remains, but it could have been a Loki that killed He Who Remains. Just to kind of tie in and make it seem everything in the TVA was as it seemed, but someone stepped in and literally put the veil over and was like, "Oh no, it's the same. It will always be the same." And then when finally revealing that it's a Loki that ended up killing He Who Remains, and then saying I wanted to change everything in the course of this, and wait for the one true Loki that could possibly best me, something like that feels comfortable.
I feel like at this point it's either got to be just a gangster ass Loki or He Who Remains Beyond. I don't think we get Kang just because even though they'd want to set up, even though they're setting him up in subtle ways with Renslayer and stuff. I think with him being in the movie already, and I think. The problem you run into there is have they filmed the movie he's going to be in at all? Have they started filming?
Not that I know of.
See, you run into that problem where whatever his performance here, if the filming isn't done the same, it just might be off. Remember at the beginning of this series how we were I know it's little and it's stupid, but the hair not being the same, that kind of stuff bugs us. They're just inviting that kind of stuff by putting Kang in this at all. Mm-hmm. So. I think they just lay down subtle groundwork and they don't show him. I don't think he's in it, but they don't show him.
The way I think it's gonna go, I really think that there's gonna be the last episode is gonna be 100% full throttle, just full action for the whole episode. I think you're gonna pretty much go into the castle straight away. I think within the first 5 or 6 minutes of the episode, I think it's going to be just straight into it. I think we're going to see it's going to be like an Emperor Loki, he'll be King of Asgard or something like that, because I think there's a clip of him standing on the throne that we haven't seen yet, which I think is from the finale. I don't know why they're doing this stupid shit, they're giving us clips from the entire season. It's ridiculous, but I think that's what we'll probably see, but I think that they'll have some sort of a fight, and I think that'll kind of end like halfway into the episode, and then I think what'll happen is before they even get to the end, I think we're probably going to get Kang for like the last 10 minutes, like a kind of intro into him, and then it's kind of the story's not going to be end. It's not going to end. It's going to be just the beginning, like kind of like WandaVision, you know, like these, as I keep describing them, these shows are just DLCs for the MCU. It's just very slight stories that are just, you know, getting everybody's beaks wet and just like, you know, dipping it into phase 4. This is just a tiny little dip into phase 4. We haven't seen anything proper from phase 4 yet. Like, I know
exactly that's
yeah. There's been three projects so far for phase 4, but they're all just little DLCs. They're nothing important. They're nothing epic. And I think that, you know, this is again just a stepping stone. It's going to intro Kang, and this is basically just the start of Quantumania, I believe. That's where I think it's going.
Now, Finto, like, you play DC Universe Online, right?
No.
Have you? Okay. Have you watched the intro to DC Universe Online?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give you a quick tidbit of what happens, and this is what I want to happen. So in DC Universe Online, from the intro, there's a lot of like battles going on, and it's like basically a battle to the death between like Lex Luthor and his crew and Superman and his crew. Eventually, it leads to the death of Superman, and then Brainiac shows up and basically takes over. And then you see that like Lex in the future lost an eye, and he's like, Brainiac return, and like, but we have to stop him. So like, it turns out that Lex Luthor was like a future Lex, and he came back to the present time, and he turns around and he's like, what did you just do to the Earth? And he's like, giving you guys a fighting chance. And that's kind of what I want for Kang, because like what he did was he sent off a bunch of exobytes that changed all the humans in Earth and gave them powers. And so, like, if it's Kang, I want it to end up like that. I want that 10 minutes. I want that to be a final moment of him being like, I will show you what it is to be because of the multiverse.
Does Kang create, like, the mutants then or something? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, like, there has to be some sort of disruption that occurs. Like, okay, you want it, you got it kind of situation.
Yeah,
and you like, you turn around, you see that, like, the entire timeline just cracks and splits and everything just goes haywire, and then it's like, you wanted this so badly, you wanted so badly to be free.
Here you go.
Now is your chance.
Yep. Sit in it and come back to me in a little while. Tell me how you fucking hate it. I know, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we're going into Spider-Man 3, we're going into Multiverse of Madness and stuff, you know. It's obvious that this is where it's going. It's just, I don't know how Loki ends and how it connects to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get like you said, the episode starts off all gas, no breaks, full action.
Yeah.
We get a good first half of the episode in the castle. Then we get a pace break by going back to Renslayer. Either she's gonna show up in the castle, she has to be in this episode somehow. So that's gonna. I feel like that's how they pace the episode. They slow it down with continuing on with her. But I think the end of the episode is pretty much kind of like what we already saw when the bombs were going off of in the TVA, where the timeline. We're finally going to see, though, we're going to see like somebody in the TVA looking at a screen. We're going to see something cross the red line.
Yeah.
That red line. And then we're going to see like the actual start of maybe the last scene of the episode is just like a visual just beauty of the start of the multiverse or something, you know. I feel like that's how they get out of showing Kang at all. That maybe they have him involved, but they don't show him. And, you know, they give the Loki and Sylvie their closing, but I think the end of it is going to be like, instead of like a sunset, it's going to be like a multiverse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, this might be a stupid question, but did they, you know, Sylvie sent all the bombs back in time to all, and we went through this on one of the previous podcasts, all the drop-offs in time. Was any of that ever actually explained as to what happened, or are we just to presume?
Exactly. I don't know. That's what I said after the very next episode. They were like, "Are we to assume that they cleaned up all of those thousands of bombs already, or hundreds, or whatever?" By the next episode, and they really haven't talked or touched on it since then. And like the only things that you see in TVA, you still see people standing guard duty in TVA. Like it's chill. Like it doesn't feel like they're in meltdown. So I feel like
some people are theorizing that that's what if. Which would be cool.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Sense.
Yeah.
My theory behind that, and
something.
I think
it needs to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. And I think that the theory, like my theory behind it, and I think I referred to that in the previous episode, was they didn't actually clean everything up. They basically like took the file, deleted it, and made it seem as if like it's completely gone. When in fact it's like it's there. They just kind of moved past that point in the timeline where there was a split and was like, oh no, it's fine. Look, it's clean.
Yeah.
Kind of swept it under the rug because there's no way there's that many people within the TVA, as far as we know, that can just go out and go clean up every single timeline. There had to have been a couple that had like actually split off and everything's like going haywire already, and they don't want people to know. It's a lot of the same thing that you see within the TVA. They don't want they have all their propaganda. They have all their things that like are like orderly, like business. Things have to be as clean as possible. But like you can tell that after all this, like they probably swept a lot of things under the rug.
I think we get like a scene where it shows like the freeing of the TVA, where like I don't know how, but like I feel like that's what we need. At least with Mobius or somebody. I want to see somebody go back to their OG timeline that was a TVA variant. I need that. It's the boat. Mobius, right? It's the boat from Falcon and Winter Soldier. If I don't see my jet ski, I don't see a fucking watercraft on the water, I'm upset.
Yeah. I to be honest, bro, like really prepare yourself for that, because I think the stuff that we feel as fans that we deserve, we're not getting with these shows, so I'm fully ready for failure and despair. And I just think that I just think you need to be ready for it. Like, we didn't get Mephisto or Doctor Strange or anything, and then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier we didn't get Spider-Man or anything, like just so much stuff that they could have very easily done and just didn't with that show as well. And it's just, I think we just keep getting disappointed.
Finto, right. Real quick, look at Gabe's prediction in chat. What if the creator of the TVA is going to be, the camera points back, breaks the fourth wall, us, the fans?
Ooh, that would be cool.
Bah, bah, bah.
It's actually
mind food.
Stan Lee himself.
That's what I was saying.
I never would have thought of that on my end. That's a crazy theory. I love that.
It just kind of comes like the camera pans out of like a comic book page.
Did Kitchen
or something.
say this at some point? Because Kitchen's saying, "How dare you?" Or did he steal? Oh, I don't want to credit anyone.
I think it'd be cool if it kind of like shifted to just like Marvel's like comic book studios, where they do all the drawing and writing of the comics, and then it's just like boom. They just say you kind of pan out of a comic book page, and it's like fucking one of the main writers for Marvel or something like that. It'd be so fun.
It's Feige and
himself, just giving us that dirty grin he just puts out all the time.
Like, why am I blanking on his name right now? Happy. Who's Happy?
Jon Favreau.
Favreau and Feige just sitting in a room like chilling.
Just like sipping on some.
They're the two timekeepers,
whiskey.
And Stan Lee is the third one.
Sipping on that top shelf whiskey, bro.
I mean, it just there's just like this last episode. I really hope it kicks off really well, and it just gives us the biggest wow factor ever, because this is their literally their ultimate ending.
Deadpool would be cool.
Yeah, Deadpool would be freaking amazing.
Could just pop. Actually, to be honest, right, as cool as it would be, as funny as it would be, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, and it would kind of piss me off if they're just like, hey, let's just throw Ryan Reynolds in there. Like, it wouldn't really make any sense. Like, how the fuck does he get to the end of time and stuff? I'm like, I'm all for the idea of him showing up in cameos going forward and kind of taking that Stan Lee part, because that kind of makes sense if he's just going to make a cameo like that. But I don't think this is the place to do it for the first time. I saw that during the week they confirmed that, because I believe that She-Hulk was like one of the very first comic books to break the fourth wall. She was one of the first characters to ever do it in the comics originally, and apparently her show is going to be breaking the fourth wall. So I think if you're going to get a character in there like that, maybe you bring Ryan Reynolds in and the two of them break it together or something, like, and then you can kind of go a bit crazy with it. But I think breaking the fourth wall now would be kind of just like, like Deadpool hasn't made his entrance yet, and I just don't think that's not where he makes his entrance into the MCU. I think it's a bit too crazy.
No, I can agree with that.
Especially after all the places where it would have made sense.
Yeah, like, you know, I think I spoke about the kind of script kind of like spoilers or leaks that came out for Deadpool 3, and apparently, you know, he thinks he's the one that caused the snap because he stole Cable's tech and stuff, and like that's hilarious and it makes sense and it's funny. And you know, he shows up at like during Endgame and he's like kind of like, oh shit, that's great, I didn't cause this, there's a big fucking war going on or whatever, like, you know, and then he kind of maybe just stays out of it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, I don't like the idea of him just popping into Loki or something like that. It just wouldn't make any sense at all.
I mean, canonically, the only two that make sense are Kang and He Who Remains Behind for the TVA, for actually running the TVA. If you're going by comic canon, which we know that they don't go necessarily word for word, page for page, and they like to have their own little twist on it. Obviously, we've seen Agatha, we've seen Sylvie being kind of a nod to the Enchantress. She talks about enchanting. She enchants a freaking temporal dragon, whatever. So we know they're not going to stick to it page by page. So if they're going to do canonically, those are the only two options I have.
Speaking of Agatha, did you see actually they say, you know, when they go to Pompeii, they're saying that there was a woman that's like kind of filmed on screen for a minute, and I think that they like it was confirmed by one of the writers that that's actually Agatha.
Really?
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
I want to see like a screenshot,
like a very young version of her, apparently.
I don't know. Like, I'm not good at those things. Even when I saw the screenshots and people were like, "That's Agent Carter," I'm just like, I guess. I mean, it's the side of her face, and she's got the same color hair. I could put on a wig and cover my beard up, and you could make me look like Gabby Carter. You know, I mean, whatever Carter, whatever her name is. You know, so when you get those like one frame shots, I feel like you need more than that for me. That's why like I haven't been hyped for the whole. That's there could be Captain.
That's her there, if you remember. I think they run past her and she screams something at them. But that
was in
that was in, when they were in Pompeii.
That was in the Renaissance. No, that's in the Renaissance where she's like, some of us need this, you know. Yeah, she looks like her, but I don't think that's her. She's like, you guys aren't in the time appropriate garb. Some of us need this, you know. I remember that part.
Well, I mean, I would say the biggest cop out would be that like it would be He Who Remains, and then it turns out it's a scroll. That would be like the worst, dude. Just like throw in the scroll everywhere, because like we're seeing scrolls. We're starting to like realize that Secret Invasion is going to happen eventually.
Oh yeah.
So imagine this.
Secret War is going to be where it's at. That's the next big one.
Yeah.
And I think the Russos have said they're back in for it, so that's going to be the big one.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
Secret Wars is what that post is. That what agent U.S. agent is going to be in?
I think.
What's his storyline?
They're like Secret Wars is that like the timeline one where they start bringing in different people from different timelines and stuff, like, so there's like different versions of Iron Man and all that sort of shit, and I think it's going to be a pretty wild one.
Yeah, I believe, because that involves Battle World as well, where they place them in there and they have different terrains that would have best suited them, and you have like an amalgamation of like the villains and the heroes, and you have their sets of teams, and then you realize, and then like it a lot of it I think involves Doom. Because of course Doom is so like self-centered and thinks highly of himself that he wants to like try to make sure that he's the mastermind and is able to control the battlefield. So I mean, yeah, like I know for a fact we're going to see Doom eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm just 100%. You have you can't have Fantastic Four and not have Doom.
Exactly.
You know, 100%. Yeah, I just don't know when is all that going to come. Like, is that after, like, say, Strange fixes the multiverse, and then, you know, whatever he sets as the single timeline at the end, when it's all fixed, I think that's when it's like, oh shit, we're living in a new universe now, but this is the Prime, and, you know, we've got X-Men, we've got everything now. I think that's what it's going to be, you know, it's like, this is the brave new world, and unfortunately we're not going back to the old one. It's kind of, like in DC when the Flash goes back in time, but then when he comes back and he goes to a new world, and that's kind of the one that they're left with. Like, I know he goes back again and fixes it, but you know, they obviously can't do it that way. But I think that's what's going to happen.
Right. Now, when you say fix, though, like, are you saying that it's just everything's stable, or are you saying that like
It's
we're back
just
to a singular timeline?
Singular. I think that they create the prime timeline, right? I believe.
Sacred
the story.
timeline.
Yeah, well,
The prime timeline. Did Bezos get to you? Is he trying to get you to rebrand it to the prime timeline?
I think that's what it was called in the comics, though, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Actually,
sounds like a Bezos Mandela effect, bro. I thought it was called the sacred timeline this whole time. You're out here calling it the prime time.
Oh,
No,
well,
prime
yeah.
timeline.
There is a prime. There is a prime Earth.
Yeah,
It's much like in the DC universe.
Yeah, I think that's what's coming after the multiverse war. I believe. I
The
believe
only prime I respect is Optimus. Okay.
yes. Can't wait to see more U.S. Agent. Ooh, Gables.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
talk,
gonna.
we'll talk about that soon.
Let's
talk about that soon.
Can you do your spoiler warning? Can we get into this?
Yeah, to be honest, like, you know, I think we're kind of just speculating on what the last episode of Loki's going to be, and I don't really think we know anymore, really, to be honest. So
No,
yeah, I'm happy to step into to Black Widow now.
Black Widow spoiler.
Hang on a sec.
Listen, if you guys haven't seen Black Widow, you may want to mute for a second.
One second. I have an idea.
But a quick thing about that, Finto.
Yeah.
I do want to say, like, I really don't want us to go back to just a singular timeline. I want it to just continuously be a multiverse. Just a multiverse, but it's a stable multiverse, and they just understand that, like, there's other areas within the multiverse that they can go to in case they need things. Like, and then that would add more plot to a bunch of different things that you can get into.
Binto, you know what alarm you need? You need the Death Star.
I don't want George Lucas to sue me.
Oh god.
Yeah. I'll leave it
bro.
I'll leave this up on screen. So guys, everybody, we're gonna tip into a bit of Black Widow now. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want it spoiled on you, because I will not be able to control myself and not talk about spoilers, and I think the rest of the guys are going to be in the exact same boat as me. So, you know, if you don't want Black Widow spoiled on you, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe just mute the tab, go chill in somebody else's stream for a bit. I appreciate the lurks, I appreciate everybody being here, but I fully understand if you want to dip out now. Like, that's fully expected. I know the movie's only out, especially if you're over in the US. I think it only came out yesterday. If you're EU, you might have seen it on Wednesday or Thursday. Like, it's been out a couple of days here now, but yeah, thank you so much, guys. Let's go,
dude. Oh my god. Now, first off, I'll say I'm a little bit upset that we actually still didn't get Budapest, bro.
True.
We got talks about Budapest, and we got a lot more like lore and Easter eggs to Budapest, and we spent a lot of time in Budapest.
Pest, yes. But I will never pronounce it the other way again.
But we still didn't get that. Like, oh, are those bullet holes? No, those are from arrows. Like, I want that so bad, and we all do. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose because they know that we want it so bad, and that they're leaving themselves a door to play this. I don't know.
Yeah, I to be honest, I think, you know, as like, I liked the movie. First impressions were it was great.
Proper send off.
Now that I'm kind of thinking about it more, and me and Drunky were talking about it this morning, and I just kind of, the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, it wasn't as good as I kind of thought it was when I first walked out of the cinema. I was just kind of overwhelmed and so happy to be back watching an MCU movie after 2 years. Like, Spider-Man came out 2 years ago. There hasn't been a Marvel movie in 2 years, and you know, I was just so excited. I think
I know what your problem is. We're sharing the same problem. It's because we're not getting anything phase forward. Everything that we've got has been like the meanwhile stuff.
Right. Everything in between.
Yeah, this movie is this movie was released 2 years too late, in my opinion. This movie should have been brought out directly after Infinity War and kind of just like a previously on, and just go straight back and then tell the story right up to Infinity War, and then boom, we go into Endgame.
I think put it after Endgame. Like, you see what happens in Endgame and you're like, oh my god, and then you have all those people speculating, oh, is she gonna come back? No, you release Black Widow and you're like, this is her proper send off.
Yeah.
And everybody respects it, and it still claps, it still hits great numbers because people are on the hype at the end of Endgame. And you get ScarJo's proper send-off. Like, this is a proper send-off, regardless if it's too late from where we wanted it to be. Yeah. But I think it was a good movie.
Look, and I've said this since the beginning. The worst MCU movie is still a good movie. You know, they've burnt themselves by creating such a high bar that, you know, it's so hard for them to compete with themselves. You know, they've set the bar so high. You know, you've got like movies like Endgame and fucking Winter Soldier and all these movies that are just so fucking incredible, and you can just watch them again and again and again. When something like this comes out, or like Thor 2, for example, like Thor 2 is not a bad movie. It's not one that you're going to
don't want to watch it 15 times.
It's not one that you're going to continuously watch, but it's a good fucking movie. You know, the movie was good. I had some problems with it. And I just really, to be honest, I think, and Drunky made this point, you know, you're not really going to give a shit in 2 years' time when you're going back to watch the entire timeline again. You're going to watch it in timeline order, and it's going to make sense. And
it'll hit way better then.
Yeah, I think when you watch it in the correct like timeline sequence, I think the movie would make a lot more sense. My thing is, you know, we're gearing up, we're getting all these little teasers for phase 4, as you were saying, Kyle, and then it's like, you know, we haven't seen a movie in 2 years, and the first thing you sit down to watch is something in the middle of fucking phase 3, and you're just kind of like, for fuck's sake, like, as good as the movie was, it's just like, you know, we're talking about the events that like literally just happened straight after Civil War, which came out in 2016, for Christ's sake, you know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Max, don't worry about having to skip out, dude. It's all good, bro. You get your shit done.
Like Vin said above, yeah, we did get more about Budapest. Like, we know the general timeline of what happened with Budapest. The original Budapest was when she first went to assassinate Drakenhoff the first time, and then also Clint shows up during that at some point to try to kill her. I guess that she sways him. They do the operation together. I think, like, everything you're saying is true, too, as far as this just being in the wrong. Everything just feels like...
It's 2 years too late.
Again, right. I don't know if
let me paint...
in their mind, if they're trying to blame, you know, the pandemic, like...
No, it's still too late. Even if you take the pandemic out, it's still too late.
Yeah.
It's still too late. Let me paint a quick picture for you. So, imagine this, right? Civil War happens, we take the natural break, we get introduced to Doctor Strange, then boom, Infinity War happens, the snap happens, right? And then 6 months after that, where they originally released Captain Marvel, you release Black Widow. You have your strong fucking female-led movie with no bullshit, just a fantastic character that you've grown with.
Do it first.
Of course you can.
The ending of the movie has her tombstone.
Yeah, but no, I don't even think that scene... I think that scene was added after. I don't think that scene was even originally in the movie, to be honest, because that scene doesn't add up, because, like, you know, are we to believe then that was the first time you meet Val? Like, you know, I don't think so.
True.
It doesn't really make
that's
any
only
sense.
been added since Winter Soldier came out. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I think they get
Florence
Pugh to just shoot a quick scene. You know, it's easy. She looked so
if they
much
take that
different.
Scene out, it makes sense there, but they can't have that scene in there before.
Yeah, but
Endgame.
Think about this though, right? They have the after credit scene. If you were to have it back at the time when it should have been released, you would have still had Chris Evans in contract, and you could have still had like Sam as Falcon and stuff like that, and it would have been so much easier to do and made so much more sense that you just bring them into the after credit scene, and it's like, you know, like as Drunky was saying, what he wanted was, you know, Steve to come at the very end, and he's the family that comes together. She spends the entire movie looking for family, and at the very end, Captain comes in, it's like, Nat, let's go. We've got our friends to save. We gotta go rescue our family. And that just is poetry in motion. It's beautiful. Like, I think if you take out Captain Marvel, and like even now, like I still don't want Captain Marvel in the timeline. I still think it's too soon. If you were to replace Captain Marvel with Black Widow, it's a character that's been built up for like 6 or 7 movies. You give her origin story smack down in the middle, right before Endgame. Imagine how hard that hits when she dies then in Endgame. Woo-hoo! Like, that is just incredible. Because then you don't know. Like, now again, technically we still don't know. They could bring her back. They still technically could bring her back, because I know it's kind of hinted that, you know, her sister takes over, but at the same time, anything could happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's all these talks of people wanting to see like a Steve Rogers like Disney show where he's putting back the stones and stuff like that. Like, what happens when you return the Soul Stone? Does it release the souls that were sacrificed to get it?
I mean, we don't know the ritual to put it back.
Exactly.
So,
I love that. I love that. So, like, now you just have Steve and Natasha running around.
Yeah, exactly. They're in a different timeline, or they're off in space with fucking Fury also, and everything, and then they come back for Secret Invasion and then Secret Wars.
I think you just discovered the answer to Loki. Captain Marvel's in charge of the TVA.
Yeah, look, I just think Captain Marvel was brought in too soon, and it just didn't make sense. And then, you know, she comes in Endgame and just cleans up everything, and it's like, you had no stakes in this story whatsoever, and you just came in. It's like doing fucking five Batman movies, and then at the very last scene when he's fighting somebody gigantic, Superman flies in and just fixes everything. You know what I mean? It's what the fuck? It's like, who the hell are you? Like, it just felt off to me. And I think if you were to put the Black Widow movie in place of the Captain Marvel movie, and then you bring Captain Marvel in when Kang comes in or something, you know, you get someone who can kick the shit out of Thanos, and then it's like, shit, we need someone better now, and it's like, boom, here you go. Here's the new Superwoman, like.
Bro, how good did David Harbour do in this movie, by the way? Holy, my favorite part of the movie.
I loved him in the movie, but I think there was scenes cut, because there's some footage that I saw in some of the trailers that weren't actually in the movie, and that kind of pissed me off, because I thought he did such an amazing job, but I think they kind of, not that they kind of shafted him, but I think they kind of cut him a bit, and like, I'm not a fan of what they did with Taskmaster either. Like, Taskmaster.
I'm not a fan either.
Speaking of trailers pissing us off, whoever is doing trailers for Disney needs to be fired fucking immediately. I'm tired of it. With every show, part of the action they show from, like, we've given our spoiler warning. Part of the action they show from the trailer is from the last 5 minutes of the fucking movie, bro. Yeah. You can't put the last 5 minutes of your movie in your trailer at all.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
It is crazy. And even in Loki, like, you know, we're going into episode 6, and there's still footage from the original trailers that we haven't seen yet. Exactly. And we're going into the last 40 minutes of the fucking show. They talked about
it in the breakdown that you showed with the bookcase, dude. Like, whoever is doing trailers at Disney needs to be fired and go work on TikTok or something, because it ain't here, bud.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, because the idea behind the surprise is like going into that last part and saying, like, knowing nothing. Yeah. Going in with nothing. Oh yeah. Getting that firework, that last part, and it's like, that would be spectacular. But when you've seen like those shots of Loki on the throne, and then we're finally going to see it in the last episode that he's like on the throne, it's like, we get it.
For example, I saw it a year ago with the first trailer.
Exactly. And then, like, for Black Widow, seeing Taskmaster fly down and them doing that aerial scene.
Yeah.
One of the things that got me the most hyped about this movie, I was like, man, this is gonna have some cool action.
Yeah.
Happens in the last 5 minutes. Like, come on.
I think the movie like paced like really well, and then at the very end kind of got sloppy or something. Like, it was kind of, and I
got real sloppy.
Drunky described it as having 2 different directors. It was like someone stepped in at the end. It was like Michael Bay came in for the last quarter of the movie and just kind of went wild.
Bing, boom, action.
Yeah, like, again, it was cool, but like, you know, how many scenes did Taskmaster have?
And was it
like
that
4?
not?
And like, I'm not giving out about, like, you know, spoiler alert, I'm not giving out about the fact that it was Thing's daughter. Like, I think that's a cool kind of spin on it.
How was it in the comics? That's what I need to know.
He was a dude, right?
He was Anthony Tony Masters. He was a guy who I think he was in an accident, and or he was given the super soldier serum, and this serum wasn't perfect, and it caused him to kind of go insane in a sense. But he had photogenic memory, so like he would be able to copy the moves of anyone that he could see, and because of his abilities, like he was a very formidable foe to anyone. Like the moment he saw that you did like a kickflip on a skateboard, he could probably do the same exact thing.
Yeah. They did kind of touch on that, and I thought that was cool, but I just think they really underutilized the character. It's like there was like 3 fight scenes with Taskmaster for like 2 minutes each, and nothing really happened with it. And then it's like, oh shit, my internet. Sorry. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, you're good.
Sorry, my internet just went for a second there, guys.
No, you got us. Oh, you're good.
So, yeah, like, I just think, like, they didn't really utilize the character very well. I just thought, there was, like, 2 or 3 fight scenes. They were very short. They were cool, but they were short. And it was just, I don't know. It just didn't, like, and at the very end of the thing, it's like he's locked in a fucking cell. And it's like, oh, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't think it's she.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't think they needed to extend the whole Black Widow, like what was going on with the Black Widows, to the Taskmaster. I don't think that was appropriate because that's not the Taskmaster story. So like having like the whole thing, and like having the whole, it was predictable the whole movie. Like we knew that she was about to break a vial out. The second we found out it was her, we're like, oh well, eventually they're gonna put a vial in her face, and she's gonna break free from the mind control. But I just felt like that was weird and unnecessary. Like, even I could tell in the moment, like, I knew this isn't the way this Taskmaster was supposed to be going. It's not it's not just like another Black Widow that's like a VIP Black Widow. That's not what.
Yeah.
Well, and like that, it would have been so much. I would have been totally fine with having Taskmaster, like with like a female Taskmaster. That's perfect. Like that makes sense. Like being trained within the Red Room and being like such a powerful like being, and also like having photographic memory, like and being able to like mimic the moves of anybody you could see. And you're a widow, like, or you were an ex-widow, and now like you're the Taskmaster because Taskmaster also trains people. So like could have been like the master trainer, and could have been like this whole force, this like just this unstoppable force coming for a widow.
Yeah.
And just wrecking her shit. And then finally she like realizes that like in order to, best him, much like in the Avengers game, like she goes invisible.
Yeah.
And that would have been sick, like her going into stealth mode and just like trying to fight him, and he's like, "Oh shit, show yourself," and kind of like moments like that. Like I would have loved that.
But they tied themselves down to the mind control. Yeah.
All it was a robot. It was a woman who should have had more time to like express who she was, because all we knew was that she was the daughter of Dreykov.
Yeah.
And that was it.
It's so compelling the whole time. Like you see the suit and the costume and you're like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
And all you get is like you said, a robot. We practically got an animatron.
Yeah.
It's
my daughter. She survived the explosion. And that was it.
Exactly.
And then you're kind of like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, I suppose. But you're like, yeah.
They should have had her speak from the get-go, make her out to sound like she's like an evil villain, and then show the reveal like, you nearly killed me, but I trained myself to be stronger within the Red Room. I became one of the top, and I taught these others how to be the same, but they are not like me. We did research to find the perfect way to make a perfect weapon. And so like that retains her humanity as her own villain, and then keeps everyone else as like, just like, I guess, pigs in a pen. And and that would have worked perfectly, because then like, Dreykov could still be the mastermind, but Taskmaster is like the second in command that also knows like everything and the know-how, and then boom, like you have the fight scenes, and then they would be glorious. They would be like way more immense than like just those little tidbits. Like when we saw the bridge fight, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I love that bridge fight.
Yeah,
that
it
was
really
fun.
Cool. I actually jumped.
It was really good.
I actually jumped. Like, I actually got startled, when the rocket comes for her car, because I was just so.
Oh, dude!
I was enjoying my food, and I was like so flaked out, and I was just so comfortable and happy, and I was like, I'm so happy to be here right now, and I was like eating some nachos, and I was like dipping in cheese and stuff, and I was like, oh, bro, I'm just like so happy right now, and I was kind of holding my girlfriend's hand, right, and then the fucking explosion happened, and I kind of just jumped. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't get scared of anything, and I was just too comfortable. I was too in the zone, like, and that just kind of made me jump. And I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "That was great." And the screen that I watched that in, like, it's like 4K, and it has like the best sound in the country and stuff. Like, it's fucking like the seats were vibrating and everything. It was so cool. Like, but yeah, that scene was great.
It blew my fucking mind. That was fantastic.
Great. It was great. But like, and then give us 20 more minutes of that, like,
Yeah, I would have been totally happy with that.
The supporting cast really did it for me in this movie.
Florence Pugh stole the show.
Who is that? Is that the name of the
girl who plays her sister?
Oh no, who's the one that plays her mom? The one from The Mummy. She did freaking.
She was brilliant. Yeah, she was brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
She did amazing. David Harbour does amazing. He adds just the right amount of comedy to it. I love David Harbour the whole movie, aka The Flood.
I love him, but I think he kind of didn't have enough screen time, which kind of made me not like him then, because, and it's not my fault, or it's not like Marvel's. It's not Marvel's fault, but yeah, he deserved so much more screen time.
Oh, of course. He's literally the opposite of Captain America.
Rachel Weisz, yeah.
Yeah, Rachel Weisz. Yeah.
But and then you said Florence, what's her name? Florence who?
Florence Pugh.
Yeah. She did great. Sometimes her Russian accent was a little bit like you dropped it there.
Yeah.
But
she's young. She's from England. Like, I can kind of respect it. Like, the fact, if you hear her talking in real life, you're like, okay, actually, it's quite impressive that she can put that accent on at all. Like, I'm terrible at doing accents, so I'm like, fair play to her.
One of the things, though, Finto, is like, how is it that so many English actors have such good range for like different vocals?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's insane. Like, I'm so terrible at doing accents. Like, I'll try to do an Irish accent. It'll like reach into Caribbean after a while. Yeah. I'm like, what am I like? But then I listen to like English actors. I don't know if you ever seen the little short of like different English actors that like had American voices, but they sound totally like they were from the country.
Bro, have you seen Idris Elba? I genuinely, when I first saw him, it was in The Wire, and I thought he was American. I thought he was from California for years, bro. And then I saw him in something else, and he played someone English. I think it was Takers or something. And I was like, holy shit, he does a London accent, brilliant. And then I found out he was from London. I was like, oh my god, my life is over. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? I couldn't believe it. But you're dead right, bro. Like, even like Tom Hiddleston, like he can do like impressions so well. Have you seen like some of his impressions? Like he does impressions of like Owen Wilson, and he'll do like Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that. He was on there's a English talk show called The Graham Norton Show, and the guy, I don't know if you guys get that over there.
It's seen a clip of the
it's the best fucking talk show. Like, I hate talk shows usually. I won't watch them, but the Graham Norton show, I don't know how they do it. It's on in the UK, but they get the best fucking guests all the time. And your man, he's actually Irish, the host, but he's just so funny. He's just really like flamboyantly gay, but he's just so funny.
He's so funny.
Oh, he's just so good, bro. Like, and Hiddleston was on the show before, and he does the perfect impression of him. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So like, I don't understand. I don't know like what kind of training English people are getting when they're growing up. I don't know if they're introduced to theater at a very young age. That's not something over here. Like, it was never something that was made available to me in school. And like, I am so in love with cinema. Like, I really think that I missed a calling in life. Like, I really wish that I could have gone into the movie business in some capacity, whether it be like acting or directing or doing something. Like, I really think that it's something that if it was available to me in school, I would have definitely jumped on it, because for as long as I can remember, I've loved cinema. Like, I really have. But it was just never anything that could have even been a possibility. Now, there are some very big Irish actors out there. I don't know how they do it, but it was never something that was made available to me, or even in the pipeline of something that could be a possibility when I was growing up. Like,
It's even one of those things now, like You know, Jennifer Lawrence is from like an hour south of me in Louisville. That other guy he's in the same movies. The one that plays PETA, he is from like 20 minutes away from me. I think I played soccer against him in high school.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So like it's one of those things where like, but then you look at LA and it's just flooded with people that are trying to do auditions and shit. It's kind of like streaming. You got to be like right time, right place, kind of lucky.
Yeah.
Unless your parents get you involved into it, like unless you get involved into it before you can consciously make the decision that you want to. I feel like it almost has to be luck.
A dude that I used to work with, I became good friends with him. He grew up with Joffrey from Game of Thrones. That dude's from Dublin. Like he grew up like 20 minutes away from me. Like, and
dude, I bet he hates his life.
He loves it. He hates acting, but he like loves his life. Like, he hates acting. He quit acting. Like the second he finished his role in Game of Thrones, he was like, "I'm gonna act on stage."
Like young Anakin.
Can you imagine, bro?
A lot of hate, bro. Just quit.
Yeah. But like they went interrailing across Europe after the first season of Game of Thrones came out. And they were saying like it was just insane. Every country that they stopped in, it's like, oh my god, Joffrey, like it all. And like his real name's Jack, and he's like the nicest guy in the world in real life. But he was just like the biggest
where he was sad.
Yeah,
where he was sad that people were like hating him. And he's like, you guys know that's like I'm actually a nice guy. That's a character, right? And people are like, no, fuck you.
I fixed his laptop before. I used to work in. He used to go to college in like Trinity College, which was like the biggest college in the city in Dublin, like, and he used to go to that college, but I worked in an Apple shop which was like across the road from it, and he came in one day like with his laptop that wasn't working, and he was like, oh, can you fix this for me? I was like, oh yeah, I know your friend Rob and stuff, and he's like, oh my god, he's like, it was just hilarious, like it's so funny, like, and this was like when this was when Game of Thrones was massive.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you were talking before about how Florence was hilarious. Like,
I thought she was brilliant.
She was
that landing scene. You know how you said you got scared during the explosion? My embarrassing moment where I was just so into the movie and I was so happy to be at the movie was when she did that scene. I laughed embarrassingly loud. Like my laugh echoed through that theater. I was like cracking up.
My girlfriend was loving that scene as well. Like she loves she loves her, like, you know. And like I think that's like a really good reception for her as a character. She goes out with JD from Scrubs in real life, which is hilarious. And I think like he's like 21 years older than her. It's kind of a bit of a crazy relationship, but I think they've been together for years. And I really see that, like, you know, a lot of like her, like I'd say she's picking up a lot of comedy from him, you know. And she's bringing a new kind of direction to the kind of Black Widow franchise, because she's very, very witty, very funny, and I just think, you know, it's going to be a fresh take, because like Natasha was always so serious, except for,
you know, she looks like to me too, that girl from Heroes, the Hayden, whatever.
Yeah,
she looks almost just like her, and I'm just like, it's weird.
Yeah, like I haven't really seen Florence in anything bar like this, like, you know, I don't really know much of her other projects and stuff. I must like look her up, but I know she did a movie for Zach Braff, like, you know, I think Zach was either co-starring or directing in it as well, and they did a movie together and got together during that movie and stuff. But like, you know, there's been a bit of hate going her way now recently again, because people have found out about it, because she's become a big massive star, and it's like, hang on, you go out with a guy that's 21 years older than you, what the fuck? So
it's always those little things.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, she's like, look, I'm 25 years old or whatever, I can choose whoever the fuck I want to go out with. So fair play to her, like, you know, if that's what she wants to do, let her fucking do what she wants to do. And the two of them have been together for years, so they're obviously very happy together.
Now,
you
if
know?
she was like 18, it'd be weird, you know.
Yeah. Like I think they've been going out for a couple of years, so maybe it might have been a bit weirder at the start, but
so
they're consenting adults, so who the fuck cares, you know?
Exactly. Let them live their life.
Yeah,
I think. So the post-credit scene? Do you think what do you think that leads to?
First of all, let's talk about the opening credit scene with Nirvana. That was like great.
That was great.
That was gripping. That was like my girlfriend was emotional watching that. Like she was like,
I love those covers when like chicks just do some of those old rock songs and they just sing it kind of soft like that.
It was fucking amazing. such an amazing like opener to the movie. Like I
started off so emotional.
I turned to her and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. Like, you know,
as soon as you said that, it started playing in my head, and I was like, oh,
yeah, it's fucking powerful, bro. Powerful. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I took a few notes, but yeah, the opening scene was massive for me. Florence's performance, like, I love when she was like, you know, where she does the hero landing herself, and she goes, disgusting. Like, you know, that was so funny, dude.
So embarrassingly loud.
She's like, she's like, I can't believe I did it. Like, you know, it's like just so funny. But yeah, the after credit scene, the fact that, you know, she says that, you know, she's like, oh, I want a raise. So it's like she's been working for Val for a while, it seems. So, you know, I think what
is Val's goals?
She in the comics becomes Lady Hydra. So her goal is to try and reform Hydra. So
destroy the Avengers. That's why.
So she's going to either... I don't know if they're going to go down the route of like Dark Avengers straight away, or if they're going to go Thunderbolts. I don't know which way it's going to go, but either way, she's assembling a team of anti-heroes. So
yeah, it seems like John Walker's going to go after Captain America. She's going to go after Hawkeye.
Yeah, so she's going to either... Does she either bring... I wonder, does she actually like get Hawkeye himself? Or, because, like, you know, Hawkeye has a bit of a dark past and he's got a lot of blood on his ledger himself. So does he himself go, or are we gonna have Kate Bishop maybe Kate Bishop joins for a little while or something? I don't know, but they're definitely gonna have, you know, they've got a Widow, they've got a Captain America. I think they're gonna bring Abomination in, so that's gonna be their Hulk. They're gonna have Abomination, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Val shows up again in Shang-Chi and recruits Abomination at the end.
Well, they're showing that they're tying the current Disney Plus characters into these movies, so they could have any variant. They could have any variant of Loki be their
well, this is the thing as well. Like, you know, you're gonna start going down potential variant routes. So, you know, you could have someone like Justin Hammer is another one that I heard getting thrown around. Like, Hammer apparently is coming back in some capacity. So, you know, do you get him coming in as kind of like a B type fucking Iron Man, or, you know, do you go crazy with it and have like a different variant of Tony Stark, like Tom Cruise, for example, is one that's getting whispered around a good bit as well. So, you know, because there's a mention, Val mentions something about the shield, and it's very obvious that the shield that Sam has actually isn't Steve's shield from our timeline. It's from a different timeline. So I think that she's very much aware of timelines, and I think that maybe she might be actually trying to pluck people from different worlds as well. So I think, again, this just ties more into the kind of multiverse of madness as well. But yeah, like, I love the poetry. I love the poetry of just how she's doing exactly what Nick Fury did at the very beginning of the MCU. Like, we're just restarting it again, and it's with Val this time, who in the comics she has a relationship with Nick as well, which makes it even better, you know. So it's like, you know, his girlfriend or his ex is going out now, and she's creating the Dark Avengers, and, you know, I just think it's yin and yang. It's just fucking perfect. Like, I just think it's fantastic.
A random thing I forgot about Loki that I kind of want to ask is that sword, was that like really significant to Kid Loki? I never saw him in the comics. That was because that flaming sword was pretty sweet.
I think Kid Loki might be the Loki we get going forward with the Dark Avengers, or maybe doesn't he? You might know this, Alex, but doesn't Kid Loki join the Young Avengers?
He joins the Young Avengers. Yeah.
So I see him coming back for sure. So that kind of tells me, like, stuff like that, like when you kind of see that, you know, you're gonna have a young Loki and the Young Avengers down the line. I feel like however Loki's gonna end, it's gonna somehow keep that world in place, like the end of time or whatever, wherever it is where they are now, somehow is gonna stay put, and they're gonna be able to bring character. Like, I can't imagine that there's going to be a shit ton of like Loki variants going into a single timeline, you know. So I think they're going to have to some way be able to pluck people out, or Kang's going to be able to transfer people around or something. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's all
90s cartoon style, like Saturday morning cartoon style of Throg and Florida Loki going on adventures.
Cajun. I think you meant to say Ying and Kang.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like, can we just show excitement for like the fact that like not only are they trying to make a team over here, they're making a team over here.
Oh, it's getting wild, bro. It's
getting nuts.
Wild. Yeah.
Like it's like if we had already had the X-Men within the MCU,
yeah,
then those would have been the two teams, the Avengers and the X-Men.
Yeah. And
so this time around, it's the Young Avengers versus I'm going to start saying the Thunderbolts now, because now that I see more of Ross, I'm starting to think that the Thunderbolts are going to be assembled.
Yeah, Ross didn't really have a big part in Black Widow at all, and it was kind of like the way that they kind of like pushed it. I thought that he was going to have a much bigger role. I thought that was quite strange. Like he was he was around for what, like 3 minutes in total or something
and then
crazy.
She dipped out on him so hard.
Yeah, I just thought I didn't get that at all. I was talking to Drunky this morning, and you know, we were kind of just chatting, and we were saying like, you know, that was a bit of a disappointment, just with the pacing and stuff, that the fact that they didn't do much with Ross. He mentioned
they almost set him up like the main protagonist.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I thought, you know, and that's when you saw in the trailers as well the kind of red vials. I'm like, holy shit, there's like a Widow super serum or something, you know. I thought like that just makes a lot of sense, and then maybe we get like a Red Hulk or something like that, you know. I just thought it was all lining up for that, and it seems like again we kind of get fucking bonered by Marvel a bit, like trying to mislead us in ways.
But the visuals on that antidote though were fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was sweet. It was really good, and it made a lot of sense. You know, it's, you know, the mind control thing, and then they break the mind control, and you know, I liked the story of it. It was good. It made sense, but I think if they had like some sort of like super soldier serum, it would have been better and kind of tied into Winter Soldier better, and you
Red Guardian better.
Yeah, exactly. Like Red Guardian, like, you know, they know that they put a serum into him, so like obviously they have been successfully testing it in the past. So I just really thought there was going to be a Widow serum, and I think we were just really misled with trailers and stuff like that.
Dude, that prison scene with Red Guardian doing the arm wrestling.
So
he's like, "Oh, are you going to cry?"
It's like, I love when your man's like, "But Captain America was in the ice in '83. What are you talking about?" And all it's like, you don't, like, he's insane, like, you know. And I just think you didn't get a chance to really like get to know the character more. I think he was missing a lot, like, because, you know, you just see these kind of like crazy things that he was saying, but it didn't really go much further. You're kind of made to, you know, fill the gaps yourself, which I kind of fucking hate. Like, you know, I give me all these crazy scenes, like, because I can picture the character that he is. I know people that are like him, you know, and he's just one of these guys that just talks a lot of shit, but he's kind of crazy, but what he says makes sense, but it's kind of mad at the same time. And I just think, you know, you put him in there and he's doing all the flexing and everything like a pissed up fucking Russian, like, you know, it's just brilliant. Like, you know, it's just a character you want to see more of, and I just think that, you know, we didn't really get to see him expand. He's like, he makes two very, very small mentions of Captain America, but the way that you're supposed to take it is that they're mortal enemies. It's like, he's never met him. What are you talking about? Like, so I would have loved to seen a flashback sequence, or like, you know, something where it's like maybe you're in his mind and you're seeing like kind of the way, you know, delusional, like kind of dream sequences that aren't real or something like that. Like, I think you could have had potentially a lot of fun with something like that.
At some point where he was just in the same vicinity where they didn't even make eye contact really. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, did he mention me?"
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would have been so fucking good, dude. You know what I mean?
Also, when it comes to the super soldier serum, does it matter if it messes with his metabolism? Because, like, I don't know if it's possible for super soldiers to get fat. And I understand it might be a Russian variant.
Gods can get fat. Look at Thor; they threw it out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like,
which also brings it back. I guess they can get drunk too, because if they can metabolize and, you know, they have to be able to get drunk.
Well, they actually referenced that in the first Captain America movie when Steve was sitting at the bar and he's like,
"I can't get drunk anymore."
Exactly.
I can't.
So that could just be why Russia's serum isn't as good, you know, too.
Right.
It is the Soviet Union serum.
Maybe,
which is
yeah.
a nice little nod, and that it's a variant of the serum.
Yeah.
Also, like, I do like your exposition on like doing the dream sequences. I also think it would have been fantastic if he just like got in front of the crowd and he just like started playing out. He's like, I was doing this, and then it just like kind of does a flashback to something that he actually did as the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
You know, because he is known in the Soviet Union, right? Like he has his own toy. Like, so clearly he did stuff that made him memorable. So it would have been awesome to at least like have those moments of like, I did this once, or I wrestled a bear, or like something like that. Like,
scene, by the way, when he got the toy and he did it, like he hums the little jingle right before he starts it. I loved
so
that.
good, dude. I just like, I love shit like that. Like, and I love how, you know, he's just like staying obedient in prison. And it's like he could just break out if he wanted to. Like, you know, like the second it's like, oh, they're outside. Like my daughters are outside. He just starts like punching the guards around and like putting his fist through the glass and all, and just like playing with people and all. I just thought that was so funny. Yeah, I loved him. My only gripe was that we didn't get enough. I want more Guardian. You know, that was the that's my only complaint about him, was that there wasn't enough.
right.
Yeah, like I think, you know.
So I love when he realizes he's gonna be broken out. The first thing he does is he walks over and breaks the glass and punches those two dudes in the face that were talking shit.
That's so good, dude.
Oh,
so good.
I have to let you know, I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I was like, I was dying when I heard that. Also, like, one of the things that I really loved about this was also the fact that like it was really showing the family and how the family interacts with each other, how they've all had something in their past lives that they had to deal with, but at the same time they all felt as a family to each other. But
then they're not family at all. That's
they're not.
They're just sleepers, like, and that's the bit that kind of fucked me over, because I don't really know much about like the whole like Red Guardian and stuff like that. So like I presumed that they were actually family. But like, yeah, like my girlfriend was like, no, they're not family. Like they're just all sleeper cells. And I was like, are you like? I was like kind of confused. I was like, oh my god, they actually are. Like, and that's obviously, yeah. But even like the scene when he's like about to, you know, just before they get knocked out, like, you know, he's like, oh, my girls are the strongest girls in the world. Like, why would you say something like that if you're like, the mission's over? Like, you know, it's like that bit kind of confused me. That's why I was kind of thrown by it a bit. But then, like, you know, the younger sister, Yolanda or whatever her name is, she's like, you know, oh, it was real for me, like, you know, I consider you my sister and stuff. But then like Natasha's like, no, like we weren't family, like, you know. But then she changes her tone towards the end of the movie. So I don't know, like, it's,
I think the whole vibe of the whole movie is you don't necessarily choose who your family is, and whether they be blood or not blood, you know, you have family, and you don't choose them, and they're real, whether they pass a DNA test or not. Because she mentions, now I have two families, and she's obviously talking about the Avengers and then everybody from this movie, and it just they're really playing on that theme, like you know. It doesn't have to be blood related, and you don't have to necessarily choose who your family is, but sometimes family comes from other places.
That's what Drunky was saying, and like, you know, it makes a lot of sense. It's like, you know, there is such a push for family, and her true family were the Avengers, so it's like, it was a bit disappointing that at the very end of the movie there wasn't anything from any of the Avengers, you know? There was nothing from, like, again, I don't know how you don't get Chris Evans on a fucking phone call for 2 minutes and just have him, like, have Natasha pick up the phone and say, I've just picked up a Quinjet, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm in fucking New Jersey. And she'd be like, okay, I'll see you soon. Like, it just
you don't even need him
everything.
to show up. You could just have his shield, like, in the. No, you don't even need that. You don't even need his voice. You don't even need. You don't need any of that. You just need his shield. Like, they zoom in, like something. His shield is sitting in the Quinjet already. Like, he's in there, kind of waiting. Like, let's fucking go do this. Or
like she already had gotten him.
Or I don't know. Just show, like, because I feel like maybe their hesitancy on doing all that is actually the interaction with getting Chris Evans to be there and do that. So then don't have Chris Evans, have his costume, have something that symbolizes him, but give us more of a nod than just a line in the script.
Like, to be honest, like, and I don't understand why this doesn't happen. I think if I was a filmmaker, it's so fucking simple. Like, you're shooting that movie, you turn to Scarlett Johansson and just say, here, will you ring Chris Evans real quick and just get him to say, yeah, see you soon. And we'll just record it and we'll throw Chris Evans 50 G's. You know, it's the easiest 50 G's he's ever made in his entire life.
Oh man, you're paying him less.
And
now.
it'd be
whatever. 100 G's.
You gave him 100 earlier. Shit.
I don't give a fuck. Sorry. I would give him $3 million to do it. Okay, because Marvel is unlimited. They have unlimited amounts of cash. Who the fuck cares? So it's like honestly, you could give him $1 million, and that changes the end of that movie. Do you know what I mean? It makes it so much cleaner. It makes it tie up so much. And to be honest, and I don't know if this is just me, but if I was Chris Evans, I would do that for free. I wouldn't need any money. You know what I mean? It's like have a quick phone call, a real conversation with Scarlett Johansson, genuine location, and they just fucking record it. And then it's like, boom, that's Chris Evans talking.
Shitty audio. Like, don't even clean up the audio.
You don't need
shitty
exactly.
Audio.
It's a real phone call. Do you know what I mean?
It just honest.
No, I completely agree with that.
It's just so easy. Like,
I think that's what they're missing out is the fact that all those people were actually such good fucking friends in real life.
Yeah.
That they'd be on the sets of these movies just goofing off, having a fun time.
Yeah.
And they didn't get to capture all of that in the movie because the movies to the end where they had developed all this relationship in real life was all serious movies, like Drunky said. The fun has kind of been taken away. Yeah. So that's how you bring the fun back. Show some of this real life friendship that these people have developed over 20 years of making movies, 10 years of making movies together.
Yeah.
And, us as fans would eat that up and be like, thank you.
I just can't.
That's an homage to us.
I just can't understand it. I can't get it. If I'm a filmmaker, if I'm making that movie, or for example, I know Chris Evans went to Atlanta and was on the fucking set of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, if I'm Chris Evans, how do you not throw on a fucking suit and just step into a scene?
Or even just be an extra. Just be an extra for a meme, dude. Just walk through a scene as a meme extra. The back of his head, you never even see his face. And then tell us all later, hey, by the way, that was Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And we'd all be like, you fuckers. And we'd love it.
I just don't, if I was Chris Evans, I'm guys, I'm here already. Let's throw the old makeup on and just have a fucking 5-minute scene. Like, who the fuck cares? Do you know what I mean? You get him in and say a couple of words oh, Sam, I'm so proud of you. The shield does belong to you. Boom. Done. It's so easy. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why to do it. It's just so, it's so easy to have these quick wins.
Maybe once they actually officially break open this multiverse, they'll just lean into it fully and just be like, here we go. Here it is. Here you guys go. We're going to start tossing these. I know, obviously, with What If, but that's animated. But maybe once they officially crack this multiverse egg open, maybe the yoke of that is going to be, we're going to actually start getting that shit. I don't know.
I truly believe
the multiverse isn't what's holding it back now, though. That's what's annoying.
I truly believe we get, Hydra Cap. I think if Chris Evans comes back, he comes back to play an evil version. And I think
I would love a Hydra Cap.
I think he needs to do something Chris Evans as a person. I get the feeling that he's closed the door on Steve Rogers, and I think he's done, and I think that's fine. But I think that he would want to come back if he is going to come back, and I believe he has signed a contract for at least 1, maybe 2 more appearances. And I think that if he comes back, he's going to want to do something different. He's a bit of a goofy fella in real life, and I think it's he's going to come back as okay, I'm coming back as evil. Multiverse is open, let's fucking do Hydra Cap. It just makes sense. And then you get Sam or US Agent versus Hydra Cap for the real Shield or something like that. Maybe Walker gets the shield back or something like that, and then you have Steve Rogers step in to get it back or something or Hydra Cap comes in, fucks everybody up, takes it, and then Sam gets it back in the end, or Bucky takes it or something. The possibilities are endless.
Or even the Young Avengers against Hydra Cap.
Yeah, big time. And then Patriot gets it. Yeah, great. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
Oh yeah,
love it.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Shield in Black Widow.
Feige, we just solved Phase 5 for you, bro. Tune in live on Twitch, baby. We're writing the fucking scripts for you.
You can tell that Marvel wants it too. Look how many shields they had in this movie. Look how many shield tossing action scenes they had from Taskmaster. You can tell they're already missing. Oh fuck, dude. Oh man, we gave up Cap. What are we gonna do?
I think I put this in already. Hang on 1 second. I put in a picture into Discord. Oh yeah, here we go. This is like, I don't know if I showed this already, but this is
what? Kitchen said RDJ unfollowed everyone on in the MCU on Insta.
Yeah, I don't know if I did hear about this, but I don't know. I don't think he manages that YouTube or that. I don't think he manages that account, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was just all flushed out. I don't think it was actually RDJ himself. This is like everyone already. Like these are the Young Avengers that already exist. Patriot, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, obviously. I don't know who Miss America is, but she's coming in the Multiverse of Madness. Kid Loki, Speed, Wiccan, Ironheart. Like these are all here already. So like the Young Avengers have technically already formed. You know, it's fucking wild.
It's ready to go, and the Thunderbolts are almost pretty much assembled as well.
Exactly.
And the Lokis are assembled.
And the Lokis.
Yeah, that's true. And now we just need the Spideys.
No, Finto, we'll lose Finto forever. He'll just be in a dark room watching it on a loop.
Speaking of Spider-Man,
dude,
I gotta troll my boy Soups here real quick.
So there's still a lot of people out there doubting whether or not we're gonna see Toby and Andrew in Spider-Man No Way Home. And to those people, I want to ask you this question:
Shout out to the King
if I would have told you this a month ago, what do you think would have been more likely? Us seeing this happen, or us seeing this happen? I never expected to see a crocodile Loki, but Marvel is using this show to set the stage for the awesome things we're gonna see in Spider-Man No Way Home and in other Marvel projects.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's gonna be great.
Yes, sir.
And why not? Like, you know, if we're getting to a point of why not, then fuck it. Why not?
100%.
Yeah, I had a spider try to give me Spider-Man powers last night while I was playing a video game.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bro, I killed it. I ain't trying to be radioactive.
What do you think? What do you think of this?
That's an amazing poster.
There's so much going on in it as well.
Dude, I just love the.
Do you see Spidey up here? Sorcerer Supreme Spider-Man.
I didn't think I'd love the.
I'm wondering now is
the animation style that much.
I really like it. I like the animation style. Captain Carter is really cool, and like it really just looks like Peggy Carter as well. You know, I'm not a big fan of the T'Challa just because his accent is so different to Chadwick Boseman. It kind of annoys me a little bit.
Yeah, like as a Ravager.
Yeah, I don't really like it. I don't like it, the voice actor's accent. I don't like it. He's trying too hard to be like Chadwick, but he sounds nothing like him.
I want a lot more Spider-Mans.
He's trying to just do.
I'm wondering, is this the reason why we haven't got the trailer yet? It's stuff like this, and like the last episode of Loki. Like this is out next month, and I wouldn't be surprised if they show these episodes, and then this Spider-Man will actually appear in Spider-Man 3 or in the Multiverse of Madness. I think we're getting a live action version of this because the pop figures have come out and there's a Sorcerer Supreme Spider-Man as well. It's crazy. Then we got like zombie Steve Rogers and zombie fucking Hawkeye.
It kind of makes me wonder how far they're actually going to push themselves on like going on the craziness, because I mean, we haven't even gotten into the power cosmic. No cosmic cube, no power cosmic. The one above all, like we got the Watchers finally in What If. Like I know we've seen a cameo of them in God, I can't remember what movie it was from.
Guardians. I think it was one of the Guardians.
Was it Guardians of the Galaxy?
I think it was an after credit scene of one of the Guardians. Yeah.
I think.
It was like Stan Lee like talking with them.
Yeah. It was Guardians 2 maybe. Oh no, it was actually. I think it was a scene just in the middle of one of the Guardians.
Yeah, movies, just in the middle where he's out there in the spacesuit.
Yeah, he's just out there in the spacesuit chilling with them.
And now we legit have Watchers.
Yeah,
which is gonna bring it even further into Battle World, which is then gonna be, Secret Wars, and then God, I can't wait.
Hell yeah,
it's gonna be so good.
Hell yeah. I still haven't forgiven Peter Quill for the whole thing with Thanos. To be honest, I kind of still hate him.
Oh, like hitting him on the head.
Yeah, I still hate him.
You gotta let it go, bro.
I can't. I was only watching it yesterday, and it pisses me off so much. It's like Spider-Man has the fucking glove off, and he's pistol whipping him in the face. I'm like, just wait 2 seconds, and then you can kill him because
And
you
then
won't
beat
have
him.
any of the Infinity Stones. So you can actually
You're not wrong.
You can kill him in 12 seconds if you just wait. But no, you have to fucking pistol whip him now, and we lose half the universe.
Right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But
I'll
you have
never
to
forgive him.
But then that part would be pruned.
12 seconds is feeling like an eternity when you're a guy sometimes, you know?
Yeah, but bro, come on. Like, would you not prefer to remove the gauntlet and then you can actually kill him? Rather than pistol whip him 3 times and then he wakes up and beats the shit out of everybody? It just makes no sense. I'll never forgive him for it. I really won't. And I hate Chris Pratt because of it now.
I mean,
don't hate the actor, hate the guy. Like,
if anyone, blame Doctor Strange at that point. You know, he could have whispered in his ear, "Yo, don't be a dipshit." There's actually 2 possibilities, and one of them involves you not being a dipshit.
Right, but at the same time, when he saw all the possibilities and he only conceived one where they won, obviously he couldn't say anything to him. Like, there was nothing he could do.
I want a Doctor Strange show that stretches out the rest of my life, just exploring all the possibilities.
I want Steve Rogers back to do the miniseries of him putting the stones back. 6 episodes, 6 stones, 1 episode per stone. Let's go. Let's go. Lost in Time, Steve Rogers. Boom.
Hire Finto to direct this, please.
We even named it for you, Feige. It's called Captain America Lost in Time. Boom.
Oh.
Because at the end of the 6th episode, he doesn't go back and become old.
Finto wants his name carved in the bottom of the awards.
He gets Nat. He does the Soul Stone last, gets Nat back, and boom, they just ride off into the sunset. Because if you think about it, as much as Peggy was like his first love and stuff like that, he wouldn't want to go back and potentially ruin Peggy's life, because obviously there's a version of it where that did happen, and she gets scooped up by the TVA.
Yeah.
So, it's like, yeah, you go back and you have your dance with her, and then it's like, okay, you go off and have your own life. And then he goes, rescues Nat, and they have their life together. And that's why you won't talk about it at the end. Because it's like, oh, you want to talk about that? It's like, nah, I'd rather not. Because if he tells Sam that he had a life with Natasha, they believe Natasha's dead. So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Or maybe Steve's just like, I don't kiss and tell. I'm sorry.
How much do you charge for your intellectual property fees? Finto? We're gonna have to get this contract sorted out.
I'm definitely not the only one thinking of all this stuff, but yeah, bro, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of times where I think the fans are doing a better justice than the actual big wigs in Marvel and stuff like that. Like, we're able to just sit and talk about this stuff and reference comic books and stuff that Marvel have already done, and we can create better shit than they actually bring out. Like, it's insane. I thought about that Black Widow movie for 2 minutes yesterday, and I was filling in the gaps better than they fucking did it themselves. And it's like, how much does it cost to do this stuff? The stuff that I'm talking about here cannot be impossible.
I just think because the fans are Ultron, and there are no strings on me, and I feel like that's probably what stopped it.
I don't know. Like, again, like, anything that I talk about is not out of the, like, outrageous. Like, it's not stuff that, like, is impossible to do. Like, how impossible is it? No, but, like, even if you go down the road of, like, taking people's, like, CGI faces like Disney are doing with Star Wars and all this sort of shit, like, you just have such opportunity now to do things that, like, you couldn't do before. Like, bringing Tarkin back for Star Wars, again, I don't want to go too deep into Star Wars now, but they brought back Governor Tarkin, who was in the original Star Wars in 1977, and he had a bigger role in Rogue One that was created 14 years after his death, and he had a bigger part in that movie than he did in the original Star Wars. Like, that's
wasn't that crazy, like the old days where you're like, oh, that's really shitty CGI. Like, you could tell it was CGI, but not that crazily. Like,
it's now, I think, like, they've nearly got it, but I think the mouths are still a bit strange. Like, in that Luke Skywalker scene at the end of Mando season 2, you can tell his mouth is a bit strange. Like,
do they have a human under him, under the Tarkov one?
I believe so. Yeah, they had a body double, and then they just CGI'd his face.
Okay. I didn't know if that one was full CGI or not.
It was the same with Luke. Yeah. Like, they had a young actor kind of playing Luke, but they CGI'd Mark Hamill's face, and they had Mark Hamill himself do all the vocals, like, but it wasn't his body, if that makes sense. But that's the way you do it, like, you know. Or if you want to go down the road of bringing Luke back full time, just do Sebastian Stan with a wig. Boom, done. Like,
yeah, he really does look similar.
He, like, Mark Hamill refers to him as his son. Like, he refers to Sebastian Stan as his son. So it's like, you know, yeah, just do it.
There you go. That's how you fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Star Wars retcon the sequel trilogy. Favreau and Dave Filoni are looking to retcon the sequel trilogy for sure.
And that's fine.
It's beautiful.
I mean,
it's beautiful. Really it's fucking beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's what needed to happen.
Cajun, I have seen that video. I've seen a few videos of people talking about the stones being returned. Is that a long video? I wouldn't mind putting it on if it's not too long. Because, like, I think the CBR go into, like, such great detail. They're a great channel to follow. I just want to see how long this video is. That's 10 minutes. I only watched this the other day, I think. Do you want to watch a 10-minute video? Will we get in trouble for putting it on a 10-minute video?
I'm not too sure. If that's the case, I want you to watch the DC Universe Online full opening game cinematic, because that was beautiful. And
yeah,
that's
DC Online. How long is it?
Like 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Okay.
That start of that game, like, I actually played for a bit, and I don't think it did incredibly well, but I know it's still ongoing, and I had fun playing it, and it was all because of that trailer that I wanted to play it.
Yeah. There's certain games, and I think this is probably going to be one of them, like, you know, I just can't play games like this because they would take over my entire life. There's some games where you have to kind of just say no. And for me, like, when they did, like, a kind of World of Warcraft, like, Star Wars with, like, fucking the Old Republic, that was just a game where I was like, I cannot purchase this game because it will take over my entire life, you know. There's certain times where I know I just can't do it, you know.
And I think that's one thing I really liked about Final Fantasy XIV, which I really need to start getting into, is the fact that even the devs have said before that they didn't design the game for you to stay in it. They designed the game for you to play it whenever you felt it was appropriate.
Yeah. So
I think that's what I really like about Final Fantasy XIV. But I haven't played it yet, but everyone's making it look fun.
Yeah. There's, like, certain, like, I know I played, like, the original WoW when it came out originally. I played, like, do you remember when that game first came out? They did, like, a 12-day free trial.
Oh yeah,
you could log in, play the game for 12 days, and then you'd buy it if you liked it or whatever. I was in school. I was like maybe 13 or something, 12, 13. I was still in school, obviously. Downloaded that on my computer, played it for 12 days straight. Like, I was up till, like, I was doing what I do now, but, like, at the age of 12 when I was still in school, like, I was like fucking staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd, like, be sneaking around the house. I'd turn on the computer, be real quiet, and play the game. Then I'd go to bed and get up. I'd be fucked, like, wrecked for school and stuff. And then I'd like log back in the second I got home from school. I, like, literally played the shit out of that game for the 12 days, and then I just said to myself, I cannot actually buy this, because if I do, my life is over. Like,
it's over. Yeah,
it's over.
I understand what you mean, man.
It's over. And, like, the second I heard that they were doing, like, the Old Republic in Star Wars as, like, a kind of, like, World of Warcraft style game, I was like, I can't even touch that. Like, I can't even download a demo of that, because, like, that's it. Game over.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin your life again.
Yeah, absolutely ruin my life. Yeah. I'm gonna play this. Give me a look at this DC thing. I've actually never seen this before, which is actually quite shocking.
It's beautiful, dude.
Yeah. Okay, we're going in. We're going in, guys. DC.
My greatest triumph was at hand. The
Not
final
actual
campaign
gameplay.
in my long war against Superman. While his powers were drained from constant battle, I struck, luring him from his self-imposed exile. But my obsession had blinded me to the real threat, to Earth's true enemy.
Oh, that's very old school, Diana. Holy shit.
Isn't it so cool?
Yeah, that's like old school.
want some on your own side. Cyborg, concentrate fire on Luthor while I call down some artillery.
Is that Kevin Conroy doing Batman? It's gotta be. He is the epiphany of Batman for me.
Deathstroke, time for you to join the
Like
party.
when I read a Batman comic book, I read it in Kevin Conroy's voice in my head. Jesus.
Come on! We've got lots of murdering to do.
No, there's Mark Hamill. Jesus Christ. Diana's such a beast.
Oh yeah.
Lose something?
Greetings, sister.
Uh-oh. Man, like, so much of this is coming in the future because, like, you've got, like, The Rock as Black Adam. We're gonna have the intro of a few more Green Lanterns and stuff. Like, we could see all this. Mark Hamill Joker is the best Joker ever.
Oh, of course.
Oh my god. Wow. Green Lantern smacking the Rock around. I'd love to see it. Jon Stewart.
What's this? Nobody kills the Bat but me! Call him! Bring him to me!
Here we go.
It's fucking crazy.
Batman! Adam!
The Rock so badly wants to fight Henry Cavill, like I hope they make it happen. Like The Rock wants to restore the Snyderverse just so he can fight Henry Cavill.
You don't deserve to live! Diana.
Jesus. What the fuck? Kryptonite in the mouth, oh, how dare they?
It's so fucked.
I am
It's always kryptonite.
No. You've lost everything. No. I beat you. Lex Luthor!
Yo, Kitchen, thank you for the lurk, dude. Yeah, this is stunning. This is like was made like 10 years ago, right? It's fucking crazy.
Brainiac had returned. For years, he'd been stealing the
Pretty
powers
epic
of Earth's
cutscene.
protectors, but we were too busy fighting amongst ourselves to see the danger.
Have you guys played
Brainiac
the
quickly eliminated the remaining
Injustice
heroes.
games?
The lucky
Yeah.
ones
Oh yeah.
died fighting.
No, I've seen it, but not played.
Finally,
They're so
I
good, bro.
alone
And like,
survived.
they literally
Rat.
continued that for 5 years
Brainiac
after in the comic
constant.
books, like, and it was just
I have
some of the best
traveled
comic books I've
through
ever read in my
time
life.
to warn
So
you.
good.
Mm-hmm.
This is my past, but your future. And it means the end of humanity, so together, we must change it.
What have you done, Luthor?
Given you a fighting chance.
He's lying. It's some kind of trap. Why should we trust you?
Because if you don't, Earth.
They got all the proper voice actors in. Oh yeah, dude.
after watching that the first time ever, like I was like, I gotta play this. I gotta try it.
Bro, I don't know how I've never seen that before. What the fuck?
Right? It's so good.
I'd say the internet shielded me from that because it was just like, we can't do this to you, bro. We can't. Yeah. You can't do this to yourself.
Had you seen it, we probably wouldn't have
be
you
here
right now.
I wouldn't be here. Yeah. I'd be a different man today.
Yeah, if you ever did start playing any of the Star Wars MMOs, you wouldn't. They're addicting, bro.
There's a couple of them coming. Like, I think that I'm not going to be able to avoid. Like, you know, like I genuinely believe that, like, when they launch this like open world like bounty hunter game, for example, like I think my stream just turns into a bounty hunter stream for like a solid 6 months. Like, you know, I don't think I'm going to play anything else. Like, honestly. Whew. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, guys, like I don't know.
Well, so
I think, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, kind of let's pull back into Black Widow for a second.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I know Natasha is a very serious person at times. I know she can be kind of silly at times as well. During this whole movie, I felt like she was giving a lot of this like Captain Marvel vibes too. Only for the fact that like the rest of the crew was literally like being silly or, you know, being emotional or being like, you know, being rough with each other. Whereas like she's like, no, come on, let's go. We got to get moving. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Captain Marvel, and I feel like that bothered me a little bit. And I feel like that's what kind of like drove the end point of the movie to be so rough, because it turned into this whole like, come on, we gotta go, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the way I kind of see it was, I think they kind of on purpose maybe shot it in a way that like put Florence on a bit of a pedestal because she's going to obviously take over. So it's like, you know, you want to have Natasha there, but you don't want Natasha to steal the show because we all know that she's dead in the end. So it's like, you know, let's have her there, but she's very serious. You know, she's got her war wounds. She's been through the fucking, you know, Civil War and everything. So she's kind of broken. But at the same time, she's very serious and wants to get the job done. She then finds out that the Red Room is still in operation, which is something that she thought was a mission that she completed. You know, she thought that she got her justice, so it's kind of like her life gets kind of turned upside down a bit. It's like, hang on a second, how the fuck has the Red Room been going this entire time and I didn't even know about it? So I think she's very serious, very like, let's get this done, because it's like, this is something that I need to, you know, right. It's a wrong I need to right, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. For me, I thought it worked really well, because I think, you know, you have her kind of, this is her send off, so of course it's about Natasha, but at the same time, you gotta shine the spotlight on the replacement, and I think they did a really good job of doing that. You know, Natasha was she wasn't like kind of like, I don't know, maybe she kind of was a little bit, but I think she was like, she wasn't really kind of like sexualized like she was in the other movies, like especially like like Winter Soldier was ridiculous. Like they changed her character completely for that movie. I think like it was kind of she was like ditzy and all this stuff, and she was just like pouting the whole time, and it was kind of weird. In this one, like there was a couple of like kind of weird like camera shots of her ass and stuff, which were kind of like, you know, do we need this shit anymore? Like we know she's good looking. Like, you know, it's, you know, when you intro a character like that, like it's like, okay, yeah, she's a good looking woman, like, you know, do something for the teenage boys and blah blah blah. But then it's like, let's get back to the story now. And I just think, like, you know, there was these like kind of really unnecessary scenes of like floor shots of her ass, like as she's getting into cars and stuff, and I'm just like, why are they doing this? Like, you know, are we not past this? Like, I'm like, it's unnecessary, and I'm really surprised that like Scarlett Johansson allowed that sort of shit in her own movie. Like, you know, I just kind of thought, is this kind of just like, you know, are we kind of past this? You know, she's an Avenger, she's one of the OGs, like now, like, you know, we don't need to sell her like this. It's kind of the same.
She needs to be respected.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with like with Chris Hemsworth. Like, he hates taking his top off for movies. Like he hates doing it. Like, they asked him to take his top off in Ragnarok, and he said backstage, he's like, do I really need to do this? Like, I don't want to take my abs out. Like, I feel like I don't need to do it anymore. And they were like, look, we need to do one scene. So he did that really quick one scene where he's getting changed after he fights Thor, after he fights Hulk. But it's kind of like, I like listened to him in interviews, and he said he was really like uncomfortable doing that scene. He didn't want to do it. So I like would not be surprised. And I think this is like kind of down the line of maybe why they went down the kind of fat Thor route, because he's kind of like, fuck this, I'm gonna just act.
Yeah,
I just want to just be. I just want to be Thor. Like, you know, I don't want to have to worry about being this god. Like, you know, with like good looking man. And I think Natasha, it's the same thing. Like, it's just, you know, we know she's a good-looking woman. You know, everyone in the world knows that. We don't need to see it every single fucking movie. Like, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like, so I was surprised at that, because even like the sister Yelena or whatever her name is, I can never pronounce. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name wrong or not. Is it Yelena? Yelena.
I think it's Yelena.
Yeah. So they didn't like sexualize her at all, which I thought was a bit strange. In a way,
it was very baggy clothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, her suit was really baggy. It wasn't like kind of fitted onto her, and I'm kind of thinking like at the same time like, oh, is this actually one of Natasha's and she's just wearing it? I thought that was in there on purpose, maybe for the story. You know, I think maybe it was like she was in there, like she was wearing a suit that didn't belong to her, and that's why it didn't fit. So I thought that was actually quite intelligent, rather than having something that looks like it's painted onto her, and it's like, you know, it's not hers.
Did we see that any other time in the movies? And
so I only watched I was going through. My little lad was talking about the Hulk. He loves the Hulk, and I said to him, I was like, who do you think is better? Like, who do you think's stronger, Thor or the Hulk? And he's like, Hulk. And I was like, let me show you something here. So I started playing him a bunch of Thor scenes. So I played him like the fight between him and Hulk in Ragnarok. And then I played him his entry into like Infinity War. But something I didn't capture in Infinity War was Natasha for that entire movie is wearing the vest that the sister gave to her at the end.
I was gonna say we must have missed it somewhere.
Yeah, no, like it's there. I didn't cop it until I was watching it after.
Cool.
It's got so many pockets.
It's got so many pockets.
I knew you liked it.
It's so cool, right? Yeah, I loved it.
That's one of the things I really did love about that. Like, you really showed like the fact that, you know, although they're not sisters, they do act like sisters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And now that's amazing.
I have a sister, like in like my girlfriend has two sisters, so like, you know, she definitely felt like the kind of sisterly love a lot more in the movie, and like, you know, she commented on it quite a bit, like that it was just like, you know, they did it really well. Like, you kind of did believe that, like, you know, it was a sister bond, and it just, they played it so well. It was great. Thank you for that gifted sub, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
I consider Alex my sister from another mister, and I can definitely say that I felt those sisterly vibes from the movie.
There definitely were. There definitely were.
Always giving each other trouble.
Yeah, they must have, like, I noticed as well, like I've been noticing, I'm obviously a big car nut, like, and I love BMWs, and I've noticed that like Marvel must have a serious deal with BMW at the moment.
Oh yeah, did you notice what I noticed? Yep, he's in the top drawer. BMW bird.
Love it. Yeah, like it's like boom M4. It's like boom. They had like the X, like the really nice X5 full M Sport, and then like Shang-Chi. There's like an M8 in Shang-Chi and stuff, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, they're getting like some really really big cars in these movies now. Big time.
Also, when it comes to the post-credits scene, do you think that's why they delayed it? Like do you think that's why they delayed the movie, because they needed to make sure Falcon and the Winter Soldier was done before that?
I think the movie was due to come out before the pandemic happened, and what I would be most interested in knowing was the exact same scene in the movie. I don't think it was. I think maybe they might have had a different scene. And then I think they changed it because now it fits the narrative way more with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the whole Valentina thing. Yeah, big time.
It didn't feel it like it was a nice nod. Yeah, and it's exciting, but it didn't feel fluid.
No, like I feel like Florence Pugh and I can't think of your woman's name who plays Valentina. Like, I would not be surprised if she came in and shot those two scenes in Marvel in the same week. Like, I would not be surprised if they like flew Florence out and just shot that scene. Like it, yeah, it did. Like, it just it looked like that was all shot in the same week.
Same exact outfit. It looked like she had from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
like, they just literally keep that costume for her.
I would not. I wouldn't be surprised if they shot that in the same day. You know what I mean?
I know you see Captain America over there, but we're gonna need you to walk over here and stand next to this grave. And once you're done with the courtyard, just come stand next to this grave, do some fake sniffles.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it'll be interesting at the end of Shang-Chi because I have a feeling she'll arrive again, and she'll talk to Abomination, and then it's like, you know, she'll pick him up then, and then we might get
He's gonna be like the new
Justin Hammer then or something after.
Like when we kept seeing what's his fucking Samuel L. Jackson.
This is it. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, we kept saying this is hers. Yeah,
this is hers. She's
this is Val.
Yeah, she's assembling the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts, whichever way they go. The sister stole the show. Yeah, my girlfriend's saying that. Like she did. She was fantastic, and I think it was very much. Plan. Yeah, it was very much done that way on purpose because, you know, you gotta fall in love with the next generation, like, you know, and I think that's it did that perfectly. The mission was complete, you know. Mm-hmm. Just the comedy out of Florence was great, and I want to see more.
And also, just like with Loki, and you know, with the terminology from the names and like the phrasing, like, so being Black Widow, just because we all know Natasha is Black Widow doesn't mean she's the only Black Widow. So like, this really does set in stone the fact that like it's passing the torch.
Yeah.
In a sense. So like it's much like in Loki. I still feel like it's another passing on the torch situation. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure who, not sure what's gonna happen, but like
did you guys freak out when you saw that face technology? I have to know.
Oh, I mean,
we've seen it. We've seen it a few times.
Have we? That one from with Black Widow using it?
Yeah, well, she only used it in Civil War. Was it Civil War? Was it Civil War?
I feel like I've only seen Civil War.
No, sorry. She used it in Winter Soldier when when she infiltrates the World Council or whatever. Against Robert Redford, she takes it off, and like, yeah, it's just so common. Like, it's just like such a casual thing when she does it as well. It's just like, oh yeah,
bro, I forgot about
super
that.
Spy.
I was shook. I was shook by that in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a very smart way to then get her as well back into the black suit for like the last kind of fight scenes and stuff, because obviously she was wearing white for most of that mission, and then it's like her and the mother swap places. Yeah, I thought it was very, very clever.
Do you like that? Do you like that last scene where she's goading him and she's like, you're pretty much a bitch and you didn't hit hard enough. So
oh, she breaks
like,
her own nose.
About? Yeah, she's like, severing the nerve.
Badass.
That was crazy.
Badass.
Oh my dude!
Yeah,
and then she just starts beating the shit out of him. I loved it.
Oh, it was great.
Well, and what's really cool about that scene is it's very reminiscent of the first Avengers between her and Loki having the conversation, and then you know, ultimately he says one thing, triggers like I get what you're trying to look for now, and she turns oh, thank you for the information.
Yeah. Did you watch Disney put out the Legends series? Have you been watching those? They do like little like character recaps. I don't want to put it on now because I know I will definitely get striked for it. But there's these little like kind of it's if you go into the Marvel section on Disney Plus, there's a thing called Legends, Marvel Legends, and they do a kind of little profile on each of the characters that we've met so far. So the latest one that they've put up is one on Natasha, and they do an amazing cut of Loki's speech to her when she's interrogating him, and they kind of cut it with different footage from the movies and stuff like that, and it's just fucking powerful. It's about 8 minutes long. Watch it like later on or whatever, but it's really good. There's ones on Loki, there's one, like, watch them all, they're all great. Like, you just start it from the start. Like, I think the first one is Wanda, and then the second one, like, as the shows and stuff and as the new movies are being released, they have like one little like clip of each of the characters. So it was like first was Wanda, then Vision, then Sam, then Bucky, and so on. They even did one on the Tesseract, which was actually pretty cool because it kind of just gives you just a full history of the Tesseract everywhere we've seen it, and it just flows
paperweight
really well.
In my mind now. It's just a paperweight forever now.
Yeah, well, once it comes out of its timeline, right, they're literally useless. They just power off. So yeah, it's crazy. Like when you go back and watch the whole like movie franchise again, which I think we'll probably pick up when we run out of content, like kind of what we did after Falcon the last time. We can just go back to the movies. Like, I think that's a really good idea, just to have something to talk about every week. I think it's great. And like I've started doing like movie nights in Discord, so you know, we could like at the moment we're doing like a kind of horror vibe at the minute, but like when that's finished, we're watching the Conjuring stuff. So I think we can then just jump in and start watching the MCU movies again. On a Wednesday.
Well, also, that's the thing. If they're going to be releasing movies on Disney Plus as well, I think I might actually start purchasing the premiere and then let people know. That way, anyone that doesn't have a chance to watch, we could just do watch parties.
People that are like antisocial like me, you can always join these freaking watch parties and just deafen yourself. You're still a part of it. You're still hanging out. You can unmute or undeafen yourself to make a little comment if you want, but like you don't have to feel like you're gonna have people sitting there talking to you the entire movie. It's not like that necessarily.
Yeah, movie nights in Discord are amazing. They're so much fun. Like we have I think the last horror one that we did on my channel, there was like 8 people in it. It was great. It was so much fun. Like, because like we have a text channel open, so I mute everybody, so like no one can talk in the channel. So like people aren't going to be talking during the movie, but you go into the text channel and then people are just dropping gifs in and stuff like that and just acting stupid like while the movie's on. It's great fun. It's really good fun. But there's a couple of like Den of Nerds on YouTube. He does like loads of really cool watch parties and stuff. It's just the time zones don't work for me. Like I'm usually sleeping when they're on, like, so it's kind of shitty. But I'm definitely gonna put on. I know you actually put on Black Widow today.
I did.
But yeah,
Stop telling on him. Disney's gonna come for him.
I didn't stop him. Nah, fuck that.
It
was a watch party. It was a watch
even
party.
in YouTube they do it.
Yeah, they do. Like, as long as it's not publicly being broadcast, you're fine.
Allegedly, Zaber did this. Just say
all right.
It's not public.
All right, we'll say allegedly.
It's not
for legal purposes.
It's not public. It's all good. But I'm gonna put it on again on Wednesday, I think, because I kind of want to watch it again myself, and like Limey and stuff want to watch it again. So some people, so we'll be doing it on Wednesday night as well. So if there's anyone in the chat that wants to watch it on Wednesday, if you haven't got a chance or can't get your hands on it or get to a theater, we're gonna watch it on Wednesday. So it'll be on again. And I definitely want to watch it again myself. Take in even more next time.
It really was a good movie. Like, there were some tidbits here and there that were like, but like, overall, it was a good movie.
Yeah, I think it's scoring a 7.4 at the moment on IMDb, and I think that's a pretty fair score. Like, because if you compare other Marvel movies, like some of like the Winter Soldier, for example, I think is like a 7.6 or something like that. Like, so I think it's very like a respectful score, and I think the movie, and I said this at the start of the podcast, like Marvel have set the bar so high that like when they make a shit movie, it's still a great fucking movie, So like this movie's not top 10 for me. It kind of lands in the middle of like the MCU run, so there's like 24 movies. I'd maybe put it at 12th place or something. Like it's not groundbreaking, it's not incredible, but at the same time it's a great fucking movie.
We're not gonna see 8s or 9s pluses in ratings until it's new content, Phase 4. Right. Until it's show me something that is setting up Phase 4.
Bro, I don't even think Endgame has a 9.
Also, when you were talking about the whole placement of the movies, so like it reminded me that Ant-Man and the Wasp premiered before Endgame,
8.4,
but after Infinity War. So like that was a really fun placement. Like it of course it wasn't completely necessary, but it was a nice little placement in between what was going on, and then it also set up for Endgame. To be honest, like it's set up for like how that, because can you imagine if Ant-Man and the Wasp was delayed and then they put in Endgame, and then you're like, how the hell did Scott like end up in that van?
Yeah,
like that would have been horrible.
That was another thing. Like I forgot the kind of viewing order of it, and I remember trying to think back, and I was thinking to myself, that movie happens after the snap or like during the snap. So I'd forgotten. I was like, because they turned to dust at the end. I was like, when does this movie take place? I had forgotten, And then it's like, oh yeah, so that movie's actually happening as Infinity War is happening. It's happening at the same time. So the movies are running at the same time, and then the click happens at the very end of the movie. So yeah, I thought that was intelligent. That works. I just don't think that Widow works the same way, because you're watching something that technically in a timeline took place in like 2017, but we're watching it in 2021. So it's like,
and then they also fast forward from Well, like the end, the post credit scenes also fast forward from the timeline that the whole movie's in. To begin with, too.
The post credit scene is what 2023, 24. I hate this camera so much. I think it's 2023.
You can turn off autofocus.
It's not.
You can turn off autofocus.
It's not the Logitech. I'm not using the Brio in Discord because it's
the way
just
to turn off. The way you can turn off autofocus on any camera, take a pair of scissors and cut the wire.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this. I'm gonna try and it's a Microsoft camera. I'm gonna try and download some software and see can I just get into it and start hacking into it and just see can I switch off the autofocus because it's bullshit.
I really think you can fix the Brio.
Like I think just do what I do. Just do the OBS. Well, no, you can't do that. We already talked about it. You can't do. Well, maybe you could do. Maybe you could do. I'd say maybe Slobs had a virtual camera, and you could do it that way, or you could set up a scene just on Slobs.
So messy, bro.
It does.
So messy. I'm gonna actually hang on a second. I'm switching off a camera for 1 second. Hang on. And I'm gonna switch to the Brio.
Number one spot.
I don't know if the Brio will work now actually because I have it set up in. I've got the Brio set up in OBS, and I launched OBS before. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, you have to do all the deactivate, reactivate. Fun.
Oh no, hang on. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work, I don't think.
Grow up.
Did I fucking ruin everything? Oh no, I'm back. Sorry, no, it's not gonna,
welcome back.
It's not gonna work right now. But yeah, so it's just annoying. I like the Brio. I love the Brio. It's a beautiful camera, but the green flash is driving me crazy, and I just don't know what's worse. Is the autofocus worse than the green flash? I just don't even know. I'm gonna try fix the autofocus though, and then I think this camera's fine just for Discord calls, and then I'm using the Brio for OBS. So whatever.
Yeah, that works.
Brio, brother. I saw a restaurant when I went to go see Black Widow last night called Brio. And I was thinking of you. I was about to take a picture and send it to you. Brio, brother.
Brio, bros.
Like Italian.
I don't know how Alex. How do you have a Brio and yours doesn't do the green flash though?
You know what? I have no idea.
Yeah, I had to do it with his virtual camera because mine was doing it too.
I set it and forget it, and then that was it. I think the only the only thing I did was check to see if there was anything that I could do to like adjust the settings. And Logitech added the feature for the Brio, and ever since then, like I've just adjusted it. Like I can even mess with it right now. Like if I wanted to mess with the zoom, I could totally mess with the zoom.
Yeah, you just have you just have that's the software that comes for the Brio. Is it what's it called?
The Logitech G Hub.
Yeah, the G Hub. Yeah, that you're just using that, are you?
Yep, and I have it prioritizing frame rate. I have it in new camera mode, and it's so funny.
Yeah,
like fantastic. Also, you might want to check if your anti-flicker is at like 50 or 60.
I was messing.
Maybe that'll.
Yeah, I was messing around. Oh god, hang on. Get over here, you. Get over here.
I actually turn auto. Or priority always goes to exposure on these Brios too.
Yeah.
If you want to change that to frame rate, that helps.
Okay, I'll change it to frame rate. I've got the field of view at 90. Is HDR on or off? I can't believe we're doing this shit during the podcast.
Oh no, dude! Like you got.
I have my HDR on.
People love behind the scenes work, you know.
Yeah, you have yours off, Alex, but
this is 90.
Yeah, 90 is the best, bro. I love 90.
I would, but you could see my bathroom.
Fuck that. It's all good. I was watching a review of this camera, and it was like, everyone's just like, your man just said, it's like, you only bought this camera for the FOV of 90, so like, why would you not have it on 90?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, yep. I can agree with that.
Otherwise, you might as well be using that Stream Cam, that Logitech one, because that's the only difference between those two is it doesn't offer the 90.
So I've got the flicker on 50. Should it be on 50 or 60?
Put it on 60.
Okay.
I have it on 60 as well.
Okay. Well, we'll try I'll use the Brio next week and see what happens. I'm loving this zooming, guys. It's fantastic. How do I zoom in? I'm not even using the Brio right now.
It's on the top. Oh, it's where we were talking though. It's on the top zoom.
This is quality content, by the way.
This is fantastic content, guys. Sorry, I work in IT, so I actually live for shit. I live for shit like this.
This is a podcast that has Loki on the bottom of it. So if there isn't mischief, are we doing ourselves justice?
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. It's possible because your anti-flicker wasn't high enough. Maybe that's what's preventing your.
Yeah, I don't know because I've messed around with it. I've had it on 50. I've had it on 60. You know.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Will I be watching the McGregor fight? Probably not live. I'm not gonna because I'm not streaming tomorrow, so I'm not gonna stay up for it. I fucking hate Conor McGregor. He's shamed my nation. He's shamed my nation. There's at least one
thing. Hey, you may hate him, but there's at least one thing. He's really putting it out there right now that he's like, there's an Irish pub open in every country in the world right now except for Ireland, and that's messed up. He's really putting it out there about how you guys are still locked down, so at least you can take that good out.
Yeah, like I was
to try to help open you up.
I was sitting in a bar today eating food, but I had to sit outside. But I wasn't drinking because I was working. But like places are still open, but it's not normal. Like you can't go and sit in a pub anymore. But again, I don't really give a shit about that. But yeah, look,
I already bought the pay-per-view. I'll be watching it.
I hate McGregor. I just I loved him at the start. I loved his hunger. I think the fame and the money kind of destroyed him a bit. Like after the Floyd fight, he just had no kind of hunger to fight anymore.
He lost his fire.
He should have just retired. He's never in his entire career retained a belt. So I'm like, you've never defended a belt. So until he can defend a belt, you're not a true champion. Like, you know what I mean? John Jones is the best that ever lived.
At least that's what we know. At least that's what we know now. That is, Dana confirmed whoever wins this fight is fighting for the belt.
Yeah, but like even if he wins this fight and then he goes on and wins the my internet's gone. Can you guys hear me?
I think you're good. Oh,
it's not about Khabib.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Sorry, my internet just timed out for like 2 seconds there. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, like I just think until Conor can actually win a belt and then actually defend the belt, he's not a true champion. Like
even then, anyone in that division is always going to be held above them. Oh yeah, but Khabib.
Yeah, I know. Like Khabib is an animal. Like you can't take it away from him. Like I hate his fighting style. I just it's not entertaining to me. But talent is talent, and he is the best. So
a couple good. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gilbert Burns is going to be good. There's a bunch. me and Meach treat Saturday night UFC fights like date nights. I mean, it's a couple hours you get to watch it. People punch each other in the face.
Oh, like bro, like I used to love the UFC and I used to stay up all the time for it, and I just feel like that now these days they're not putting on any like really crazy exciting cards anymore. Like I don't see an event and go, holy shit, I like have to stay up for that. Like you used to have like the likes of like Pettis fighting on the same card with like fucking Chris Weidman and John Jones in the fucking like main card and all. Like these cards used to just be stacked. Like the entire main card was just fucking fire all night, and it was like you had to stay up to watch it. And now it's just like even with McGregor on thing, like I'm like, who else is on that card? Like it's like, is there any amazing fights? Probably not. Like and I just
not
think,
anybody for the casual fan. Maybe Sugar Sean.
Yeah, I like Sean. Like he's cool. He's a good fighter.
I like Wonderboy Thompson. He's got a robe this week that's NMF, the nicest motherfucker.
Yeah. Wonderboy's cool. He's actually there's a friend of mine who just got signed to the UFC. So keep an eye out for him. His name's Dean Barry. He's going to be the next.
Oh yeah,
Dean Barry. Yeah, he's going to be the next.
Did you
the next
Contender
McGregor.
Series or what?
No, he's just signed a contract. He's gonna be fighting on an undercard soon. He had problems with his visa and stuff. He was meant to fight last year. He's actually, I think his first fight's going to be against the guy who beat CM Punk last. What was his name? Mike Jackson. The sniper. Yeah, that's his name. His fighting name is the Sniper. Dean Barry. He's like world champion kickboxer. He does the same sort of style as Wonderboy. So like Wonderboy is like pretty friendly with him, and like my mate Dean moved over to TriStar a couple of years ago and was training with GSP every day and all this shit. Like, so he's legit, bro. He's in it. He's literally won gold in every single kickboxing tournament he's ever taken part in since he was
kickboxer too.
Yeah.
That means he's gonna be fun as fuck to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just light on his feet. He just jumps around. He's very he's the exact same fighting style as Wonderboy. They do all that like point karate and shit, and like same with like MVP and with. Dude,
I wish MVP went to the freaking UFC.
Yeah, big time.
One of my favorite things ever is when he threw a Pokeball at the dude that he knocked out. That was fucked up, bro.
That was so funny, dude.
That was messed up.
He
bro.
broke his skull and then threw a Pokeball down. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's so disrespectful.
Chris
bro.
Cyborg, bro, that was insane.
Was that the Cyborg fight that he did that in?
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did
it was.
Pokeball
Yeah.
after he cracked his skull.
He kneed him in the skull, yeah, and when he was down, like crying into the mat, like grabbing his face, he just rolled a Pokeball at him.
Oh no!
Yeah.
He's the hardest bone in your body so hard that it cracks.
Yeah.
The part of your-
Do you know Raymond Daniels? Have you heard of him? He's a Bellator like kickboxer and MMA fighter. My mate Dean beat him in a kickboxing fight, and like Raymond Daniels holds some of the like best knockouts in MMA history and stuff. Like he's insane. Like watch some of his highlights, dude. He's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen that dude before.
Yeah, he does all these like crazy spinning fucking knockouts and stuff. Like, but my mate Dean beat him like 4 years ago. Crazy, and now they're mates. Like it's just gas.
Yeah, I followed him. I followed Dean Barry on Twitter, and I did see recently that he's
I retweeted
getting ready to fly over.
Yeah, I retweet his shit all the time. It's probably maybe how you saw him. He's a cool dude. I used to work with him and stuff, and like I was telling him years ago to get into MMA. I'm like, that's where you need to be, bro. That's the future. Like I was telling him before McGregor got to the UFC, like around the time McGregor got in, I'm like, you need to do this. And I remember his first thing about, I don't want to fuck up my face. He's like, I'm too beautiful.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about visa problems, bro. He's had 3 fights canceled this year.
Who?
Dean. He was supposed to have Mike Jackson twice. He was supposed to fight him in January.
Yeah.
And then in May.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to have another fight in May, and it got canceled.
Yeah, he like I think he like tore his groin muscle. He actually went over to fight that guy, and he was doing like a warm up on a treadmill the day before weigh-in, I think, or something, and he was cutting weight, and he kind of just like tore his groin a bit, and he just couldn't fight. And he was just like, I just can't fight. And like this was for a different organization because he was having problems with his visa to go over to the States to fight in the UFC. So he was like, I want to take a fight just to be fresh. Like it's so funny, he doesn't have an amateur record. He literally
there's 0-0 amateur results.
He went from nothing to fighting pro. Like he won
his first pro fight. Yep.
Yeah, he did. I think that was in Kansas. He fought in Kansas. He knocked your man out in the first round, and then
I didn't even know of Shamrock FC.
Yeah, it's just a small organization, but yeah, I hope he does. I hope he does well. But he wanted to
be
take
starting to be starting in 2017 with no amateur bouts and to be signed to the UFC. That's fucking major, dude.
Yeah, he's just one of these guys. He's always kind of known. He got signed by Sucker Punch, who like they manage like Max Holloway and stuff like that. So I think he's always kind of been in there. He's had the right people in his corner. And like, you know, his manager is just like, look, I talk to Sean Shelby all the time, and I've mentioned you a few times, and he's like, we just need to get you a couple of wins. And he got like 2 pro wins in like smaller organizations, and thing was like, yeah, Shelby wants you, like, so boom, done.
Hell yeah,
done and dusted. So hopefully we'll see him before the end of the summer. I'm hoping we'll see him in the UFC. So I'll definitely do a watch party for that one for sure.
Oh yeah,
100%.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I might even have like, it could be kind of funny. Like I might actually have a few people here watching it with me, like live, and
I'll start the Olay.
That'd be so awesome.
You're in charge of the Olay chant.
We don't do that over here.
Oh.
Yeah, they do that sometimes in concerts, and I'm just like, oh, bro.
I love that now. I don't know. It started early in the UFC, but you can't go a live event without hearing the Ric Flair woo. And that makes me laugh, dude.
Oh, man. I love that.
Ric Flair, what a legend. Yeah, that's so good, dude. I saw a few other little bits of news that I'll just talk about before we go.
Sure.
What is it?
One of them was Hulk related, so I'm always, when I see some like Hulk related shit, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, Alex is gonna love this. So She-Hulk was confirmed Wrecking Crew are gonna be in it. And She-Hulk.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
They're doing Wrecking Crew in the show, which is fucking epic.
Yeah, that's gonna be so fun.
Today was only announced that Yellow Jacket is going to be returning for Ant-Man 3. So they've got your man, what's his name, Corey Smith or something like that. Whatever his name is, the actor who originally played him is going to come back. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you remember the end of that movie, it's like he went down into the quantum realm or something. So it's like, ooh, is he going to be in the quantum realm? Is he going to run into Kang or something like that? And maybe he might have some run-ins with the TVA or something. But Yellow Jacket is due to be back. But now we're saying, like, is it going to be him or is it going to be a different version? Like, is it a variant, Yellow Jacket variant or something? So
well, I was thinking that the helmet that we saw in the Void was actually
blown up Yellow Jacket. So it was a giant, like a giant Yellow Jacket.
And my theory is that that's a Yellow Jacket that succeeded.
Yeah.
And they just they pruned him, and then he tried to fight Eliath and died.
Yeah, I agree. And then the last thing, I don't know if you guys saw it or whatever, but did you see the thing with Hugh Jackman this week? Did you see the kind of thing on Twitter?
You told me about it, but I waited for you to tell me.
Dude, so basically on Tuesday, I think it was, or maybe Wednesday, Boss Logic put up a kind of edit, like he did, like, the way he does all his like kind of fan art and stuff. He put up like a black arm and gold like claws coming out of it. And Jackman shared it, and the world kind of just went crazy. But what he did was he shared it, and then in his story, he did this on Instagram, so he shared Boss Logic's thing, and then straight after put what looks like, what could be a pretty recent photo of him with his arm around Kevin Feige. So it's like, oh my god, like, you're like, what, like the whole it was trending on Twitter. The whole world went fucking bananas for it. So it was literally trending worldwide. Yeah, hang on.
I want to see these golden claws.
I think I put it on Discord. I'm sure I did. Hang on one second. Maybe I didn't. Oh, hang on one second. The Google machine.
Good. And I don't know if you've ever done this. Have you ever done like help desk work, Alex, in IT?
Have I ever done work in IT?
Like the help desk side?
No.
If you ever do help desk or customer facing IT work, use this site called LMGTFY. Let me Google that for you, and it literally is. It's a Google overlay, and you type in whatever you want to Google on it, and it gives you a link. And the link is literally like a video that takes them to, like, shows them how to go to Google, and it shows you slowly typing in whatever their question was on Google.
Bro, that's so
and then it clicks search, and then it leaves them on the search results page, and that's the end of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think Google that for you is the most passive aggressive IT support you can provide.
I think I'd probably get fired if I did that, like, if I kept complaints and obvious stuff. So yeah, that's the claw. That's what Boss Logic put up. So the gold claws with the black arm, and then straight after Jackman puts this up. You're like, boy. What? Like, literally straight after the story.
Dirty like that, bro.
I know. He's just like, he's such a troll. Like, what the fuck? But you're like, is it real? Is it not? What the fuck? Is that recent? It looks kind of recent. I don't know what Jackman's looking like right now. I don't follow him that much to know if this is a recent photo of him or not. Like, this picture could have been taken a couple of years ago. You just wouldn't know. I've never seen this before. Look at what that is. Oh my god, the swords through the feet. No, that is like, this needs to happen. I'm like 100%.
Why do they not? They need to do something like that.
Give me a one shot of this. It's outside of time. It doesn't really matter. Like, who the fuck cares? Fourth wall break and all this bollocks. Like, somehow Deadpool gets to the Old Man Logan universe or something. But
if they never have a comedy together, I'll be so sad.
They have to, bro. Like, they're like, they consider each other like to be close friends in real life. Like, there has to be a project coming at some point, somewhere down the line.
Especially now that Ryan has like more credibility to be like, yeah, remember when you guys didn't want me to make Deadpool, and then I made you a shit ton of money.
Oh, actually, I gotta play something that you guys may have never seen before. I actually completely forgot this existed until just now. Hang on a second. I'm hoping you haven't seen this because it's gonna be so good. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? We're gonna go to the theater for this one and everything. Fuck it. We're going all out.
Finally, you put me in the damn theater.
I think this is fan made, as far as I know.
The backpack.
Yeah. Like this, they just need to actually do this as a movie.
Don't worry, baby. I'll be down. I can't do it, Captain. I want us to be together, but not like this. Maybe I'll go revive Francis. Love to kill him again. You gotta call Liefeld. Draw me up some new bad guys.
So good. Did you guys ever see that before?
No, that's awesome.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah,
Dude.
that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
They need to. What if they did one where they brought him back and they did Wolverine dirty the way they did Deadpool dirty in the actual X-Men movies? They just get him super shitty and dirty in that whole movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah," and the whole time Ryan Reynolds was like, "Yeah, you had this coming to you."
I know Drunky keeps mentioning it, but like, how good would it be if you know, they had like just some scene where it's like, say, Valentina or somebody coming to try and recruit him, and it's just like him going in the door. It's like, fuck off, and then they just walk out and leave him alone, like what they did in First Class or whatever. Do you remember that? Like, they go to try and recruit him, and he's just like, fuck off. So good, dude. So good. Holy shit! It's like nearly 1 a.m. for me. Crazy, guys. What a cast!
Marvelous chat.
Yeah.
It was a
marvelous
marvelous.
chats.
It was a marvelous chat.
Can't wait for next week. We're gonna have the Loki finale.
Loki
Probably
finale.
some Black Widow double tap action.
Yeah, I think we'll go back in and do a deeper dive on Black Widow, because I'll have watched it a second time, kind of from the comfort of my house as well, so I'll be able to kind of take more shit in. I kind of get lost in the fucking cinema, you know, a little bit.
Yeah,
I just
true.
think it'll pop even better. Yes, sir.
Well,
guys, thank you so
all right.
much.
Hey, you have a fantastic night.
I don't know, are you hanging
Thank you
around
so
for a
much.
bit, Alex, if you want to play some games or something? Might do
yeah,
I might do a bit of gaming for a bit.
I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy.
Nice,
I'm
bro.
enamored in the story.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I can play. I think I can play a couple rounds.
Okay, cool. We'll I'm just gonna take a quick 2-minute break, and then I'll be back and we'll discuss what we're gonna do. All right, dudes.
Hope you guys have a great night. It's been
Yes.
marvelous.
Same to you, brother. Thank you for being here, guys. Later.
Thank you.
BRB, guys. Thank you so much. Great episode.